Heroes of the Mist. I'm your host and Game Master, Hawk Robinson, as we continue Season 2 of this Multiverse actual play tabletop role-playing game campaign in the worlds of Beru Multiverse using modified Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 1st Edition rules. And today is April 26, 2020, continuing the year of the confirmed crit. Let's go ahead and quickly introduce everybody. Let's start with John.
John Welker. I am playing Lindale Stellifolium, High Elf Bard from the Great Western Empire of Alta Adifixium. As a bard, I am more druid than I am minstrel, but I do have some illusionist skills. I am so grateful we are no longer in the winter world. The heat is so much better as we bake.
And don't forget the bugs.
Oh, and the bugs.
Don't forget the bugs. They're hungry for you.
And we are in front of a monolith that apparently isn't magical.
Despite it doesn't detect as magic, that's true, even though it seems magical to your eyes, indeed.
I'm Katie Coonan. I am playing Moisha Turtlebaum. Moisha is a dwarf. He is a tailor by trade and a ranger by happenstance. This whole adventuring business was an unwise idea, but he's committed to it now, and he has learned that he's got vengeance to wreak upon the Mordredians, and he is now committed.
Yeah. All right, and Adam?
My name's Adam, and I play Torrent, who is a hick from the sticks and is risen by the power of Cord in order to save the world from Boar Squat form. And he currently hates everything about this new place.
Does it remind you of home?
Bugs. Oh no, of course not. You see, the bugs back where I come from are much smaller, and you tend to eat them, not the other way around. And you have this giant piece of gold, which is clearly evil, as anyone with, two brain cells can rub together can tell you. But I have a feeling that we're going to be sticking around here longer than I want.
We will see. And Andy?
Sorry, I was just helping my wife find some potatoes. Apparently they were on the floor where I left them, which is not where they were supposed to be.
Ah.
Dun, dun, dun. But then again, I have no idea where they're supposed to be, so...
It's supposed to be underground.
Well, you put it in a basket.
In the root cellar.
But then we found out that we weren't supposed to put onions and potatoes together, and so now I'm not sure which one goes in there, onions or potatoes. Apparently, onions and potatoes make each other go bad. Anyway.
Are you there? No to chat.
Who are you, Andy?
I'm Andy.
And who are you playing?
Did you forget something? Are you confused?
We're doing introductions. We're on the air.
Now, when you say on the air...
We're broadcasting live over the internet. Pardon the antiquated parlance from radio days.
Yeah, I don't think...
We're on the Ethernet.
Was this in the contract?
So anyway...
No, I am Andrew, and I play Tuck, the gnome illusionist. Oh, he's got a bit of a lilt to his voice, like this, and he is a brave soul out seeking fame and fortune, and where he comes from and who he is, and all that kind of stuff that should have been written on a piece of paper somewhere, but you probably stacked it in a book somewhere, and you have no idea where it was. And, birth certificate, social security card, that sort of thing. And you gotta order a new one, and it takes months. And
of course, you've moved since then, so they don't have your new address. And
you have no idea what he's talking about.
It's fun. But no,
okay, and
currently dealing with a severe case of evil.
Oh no, it's a severe case.
And surprisingly enough, evil is malignant.
Mal means bad.
It is not, in fact, benign as one would hope.
So the
So
opposite
we're
of
working
malignant
on
isn't just malignant.
getting to the place we were already going, and hoping that I can be fixed there. Because I doubt the magic water will help that, but it might just keep me alive long enough to get there. So let's get that magic water.
Hmm.
We love some magic water. It's been very helpful for us.
Excellent. All right, and so the rest of us are here in the Spokane area, but then joining us from Seattle.
Hi, I'm Joe Coonan. I play a Ferhat Guardian, who is a very simple contract enforcement agent for his grandfather's weaving concern. He uses his skills as a fighter and a thief to execute any contracts that have, been waylaid. And he's half elf. He's the only half elf in his family of 9, which makes holidays awkward.
Indeed. And you have something special going on that you want to share the word with everybody.
Me and my comedy writing partner, Madeline, we have started a YouTube channel called Mitch and Misty, where we just sing close harmony duets of your favorite songs. Yeah, it's not monetized because we're using other people's songs, but songs that you know and like.
How do we find you on YouTube?
Mitch and Misty, M-I-T-C-H, ampersand, M-I-S-T-Y.
You're the Misty, right?
I get Misty just like
There it
you
is. Okay. Well, we're subscribing to you. There you go.
Woohoo! Like and subscribe. There's going to be a AMA on Thursday.
That's quite the white Van Dyke you have going there. And you've got your classic Rogers sweater going on from your insurance commercials.
I'm a very handsome gentleman.
Yes, you are.
Gotta look your best when you're selling yourself.
Indeed. All right. Cool. Yeah, so be sure to check that out. And, of course, a quick blurb about the Jet City.
Since the 1990s, I've been performing and teaching with Jet City Improv in Seattle, Washington. We're a 501c3 non-profit, and unlike some nonprofits, we rely on like weekly revenue from performing shows, which we're not able to do right now. So things are a little lean. If you've got an extra, penny or two. Check out Jet City Improv. There's a ton of outreach work with at-risk youth, incarcerated youth. We perform shows for kids throughout all of Western Washington, really.
Wonderful. Well, we're glad to have you back this week, Joe. How did last week go for you?
Last week was great.
Okay.
I was doing a strange improv teaching gig over the internet. It was supposed to be in person, but we did it streaming instead because of the quarantine. And that is a different animal, trying to do improv from your couch when some of your students are, stuck at home with their kids jumping on them or their cats or whatever.
Yeah,
Very
that is
distracting.
definitely
Weird.
problematic.
Kind of like this, right?
Well, I don't have kids or a cat, so I'm cool.
All right,
I
so
don't have kids and a cat.
did you get a chance to watch last week's episode, or we need to do a good recap for you?
I'll take a recap.
All right, great. Previously on Heroes of the Mist, the group had come through the mists into this wide canyon stretching on for many miles. It became clear very quickly that they were in a different world. Things were not the same. They went from high altitude, temperate climate of the land of all the mastodons and such, to a sweltering hot, over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 100% humidity, insects everywhere. Some of the insects huge in size. You can hear in the distance all kinds of roars of different large creatures of unknown type, and you can see in the sky very large bird but strange shaped birds way off in the distance, swooping and diving. None of them have come towards you yet. Staying right at the portalway out of the canyon, there's about a 20-foot bubble that seemed to keep the insects at bay, so everybody camped that evening in that bubble because the insects were just thick and pestilential and just,
And this big!
some of them were this big. But they're taking chunks.
This magical land that we're visiting is called Texas.
It's Florida.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dan might.
Florida.
Yeah, they got spiders that catch birds in Florida.
Those aren't spiders anymore.
Yeah, they're just land crabs, right, with webs.
No. I believe.
Aliens.
I think they're prehistoric trilobites that have become aggressive.
Yeah. So anyway, so they did a little exploring. There was a lot of herb gathering. There was a little bit of success with that. Everybody made camp for the night. It was a long night. Later in the night, a very, very large moon started to rise up, taking up. So if normally the moon, you look at it, you get a couple of inches, the moon you're used to, even on a very full moon and such, it's maybe a few inches looking at it. This one was taking up like, a couple of feet of your horizon as it was rising up. And it was still rising as morning starts to come around
But there was only one, right?
at this point.
Okay.
But not a moon you recognized at all. The terrain on it was completely different.
How
from
many
what you were
suns?
familiar with.
Clearly a moon from the final scene of a romance movie.
That's no moon. It's a battle station.
Okay.
So far, you've only seen one.
Only one
So-
moon, one sun. Good. So far, so good.
Well, so far, the moon's still rising as morning was coming
Yeah.
around. So you spent the night. You guys did not use your insect repellent yet because you only had, you had a fair amount. We did determine that you had enough to go around for everybody for 10 days, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I
And the
think, did you
horses.
find some more to add
Yes,
to that?
yes.
we bug butts.
Yes, you were squeezing out the insect bottoms, right? The juices from that as
That was
additional.
all Torin.
That was all Torin's doing.
So he can take care of the horses.
So let's go ahead and let's do a recap from each of from your character's perspective in your character's voice for the benefit of Joe and such who was away. Lindalay, what was your experience of it from when you came through the mist?
Well, besides the huge and terrifying insects that weren't friendly, we also discovered the skeleton of a Thry King and the exoskeleton, to be more scientifically correct. We don't know what killed it, but it looks like it's been longer than the last time that Herschel and Moisha had been here. I remembered your dog, but not you. I don't get it. Then we did brave out there past the insects through the jungle, and the first sign of civilization we come across is a giant golden obelisk. It has a dead zone around it where there's no plants or animals in it. I didn't see any birds or insects try to fly into the zone. I detected magic on it, but there was no magic. It wasn't magical. Which does not explain why it's colder than the environment around it, nor does it explain why it has no seams and it vibrates. The other completely bizarre thing, I wanted to know, when I looked back at the party, I saw that they showed signs of magic, correct? Magic weapons,
Yeah,
etc.
yeah.
Okay, so magic actually does work in this
Does
environment.
appear to, yes.
Yeah.
But even though that thing seemed magical, it it wasn't. Yes?
What are you drawing? Because it doesn't look safe for children.
It is a green giraffe.
I'm
It's a
trying
path.
the jungle and everything, so
Oh, okay.
here's where you came through.
Okay.
All right, so this is where you came. out of the mist into the land here. That's the clearing of the jungle. You guys remember, so when looking at the jungle, there used to be a trail when you came through, and instead there's new jungle that's lower than the rest of the jungle. It's like 30 to 50 feet tall, and then the rest is much higher, like 100 feet plus on each side. That's this lower 30 to 50 feet tall part of the jungle. Everything on each side is taller. You had to be a little bit off from there because this path, actually the undergrowth was thicker than to either side. So you guys were just to the right of that, where it was a little bit less work to hack through. So basically you made a little
Hacking
path.
away with my axe.
Yeah, you were hacking away, making a path like that. Then you came to that clearing. It's about half a football field across. It's about 150 feet across. A round clearing. The center of it was sand, no plant life, like vegetation stopped a certain distance out from the item that was there. The item that was in the center of this clearing was shaped, so if you're at the ground level, looking at it sideways, it looked kind of like a small pyramid that was very vertical, right? Not a flat one, a more vertical one, right? And you walked all the way around it, and it was just smooth, gold, and shiny. And there was, when you came into the clearing, there was a low thrum humming sensation. You kind of almost felt it viscerally, and more than heard it necessarily. You could hear it when you stopped and listened over all the insect noises and monster, animal noises in the distance, etc. And then, so Lindalay, you went to investigate it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about your experience and observations? So you tried to detect magic, didn't find any magic?
No magic. I looked at it visually. I found no seams, no markings, nothing to indicate an entranceway or anything.
No insect or animal footprints anywhere in the sand immediately around it.
Right. There was no anything, markings or handles or knobs or nothing. It's just all smooth and reflective. And I mentioned earlier that it is cold. Very comfortably cold.
Cold is good. Let's go knock on the door.
100 and plus degrees
There
outside.
isn't a door.
Metallic
Let's
looking
knock on the wall.
and yet very cool to the touch. And it
Um,
vibrated too. You could feel the vibration in it.
I examined it in every method I could except for tasting.
But the thought crossed your mind.
It did. I listened to it, heard the thumbing. I visually inspected it.
You sniffed it.
I touched it. I sniffed it. It doesn't even smell like gold. So I don't know. And it's not an illusion.
Yep, because he physically touched it and such.
And detect illusion was casted at it.
Yes, you did detect illusion on it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Which did not reveal any hidden writings or
Correct.
passages or anything else of relevant.
Correct. Okay. So then you were ready to move on, is kind of where we stopped at. But
Yeah.
I said, well, let's kind of hold it here in case
Farhad is-
No, Farhad also, when he first came up and saw it, I tried to do it in character for you. Something along the lines of, hello, friends! Trying to get some response from it. But nothing happened. That was my best effort for your being in character there. That would be your response to
I
this.
did tap on it
You did tap on it, yep.
and didn't get a response or even an echo.
Yeah, it
or
felt solid.
right. It sounded like a dull gong at best.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, and what else about it?
Moisha, what was your experience coming into
Oh,
this?
I wasn't talking about my experience.
Oh, okay.
I was talking about Andy's experience. Talk's experience.
Oh, Talk's experience. We'll come around there because
Okay.
you have your perspectives. So you were pretty much done with it and ready to move on.
yeah, I can't figure out anything else to do
Okay.
with it.
So Moisha, from when you
Except for
came
maybe
through the
dead.
mists, your experience leading up to the obelisk there.
Bugs! Moisha was not happy about the bugs. They were ginormous and could easily take a huge bite out of crime.
They can carry off a ferret.
And was happy enough to lead the way to hack through the undergrowth along the path that he remembers.
Mm-hmm.
Vague though that memory may be. and vaguer since things have grown years worth of growth in the short time he's been gone. But Moisha is really hot and wants to lay his body against the side
Everybody
of the...
wants a piece of moisture.
wants to just cool his cheek and his, hands against the cool wall of the...
When
Okay.
I did that, they drugged me away.
Yeah,
How
well, so
rude.
yeah, when Lindalay then went and leaned on it to cool off, I think it was Torin who had a safety rope,
Yeah.
yanked him, so he got pulled into the air, feet sticking out, and slid up the sand as Torin rapidly pulled him away from it, thinking that it had somehow possessed him. I think that's
I
part of...
panicked first because it looked like he was being possessed by it, and it was
Right.
causing him to want to hug it.
Right, so then...
I did not fathom him hugging a monolith.
Right. So you had Torin yank him back, and so he was dragged through the sand backwards. Moisha, did you ever actually get up and go to it?
No,
Okay,
that
we
was...
hadn't gotten there yet. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Torin, your perspective from when you first came through the mists, your whole experience there, because you had quite a bit going on leading up to this Elvis.
Why is the screen flashing?
It's the cables.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, so pretty much everything about this place is absolutely terrible. I mean, the cold, I thought the cold was bad, but too much heat is by far even worse because you can do something about the cold, but you can't take your skin off, which would be real helpful right about now. And
Well,
the
you
bugs,
can.
I mean, bugs shouldn't be that big. I'm pretty certain that, I know Cord doesn't make bugs. I'm not sure who the god of bugs is, but where I come from, he did it right.
I believe he's called Orkin.
And as for here, it's the worst possible thing that you could imagine, all these bugs. However, I got enough bug
Is this
repellent
holy
to keep the
symbol
horses
black
going
flag?
for at least 3 days, which is fine, because poor things are just slathered all up. Anyways, we found this giant golden rock, and probably evil. I mean, everything is dead around it, probably evil. Best just go around it. Nothing good's going to come from touching it or hugging it, as the bard was up and doing, because bards, man. Fortunately, the power cord pulled him away before anything untoward happened, like having his soul sucked out from his eyes or something right into the giant gold rock. And now Talk is saying that something wants to let out, which, I mean, Talk the only one's hearing it. I mean, I ain't saying Talk's evil, but I know he's got that evil thing on him. So obviously, that's the reason why Talk's hearing this, and why we should just let it lie and get on and skedaddle.
Okay, and did you guys want to talk any more about the exoskeleton of the Thrycreen as far as some of the specific evidence that you discovered as you were doing a little bit of a...
That'd be on my part.
Okay, well then let's go ahead and off to you then, Talk. So you came through the mists and start with your experience of things.
Oh crap, those bugs.
They're as
Sorry,
big as
I'm
Talk.
sorry for the language. But, the bugs. They could carry me off. And do horrible things with me.
Go to chatware.
But,
Messages.
well, me and Torin were on guard duty. I said duty.
Under discuss.
I went up to a little bit closer to the edge to examine the bugs, and in a show of pride and courage, I told them that that I didn't fear them because they were nothing compared to my master, Tathar the Magnificent.
Magnificent. And what happened when you did that?
The bugs went away, which is all
Well,
I care about.
but why?
The bugs went away.
What happened?
No, the bugs went away. The bugs went away. But no, it developed some sort of feedback loop between the two realities on the mist. echoing back and forth periodically, louder each time.
And how did it not summon your master?
Was that?
How did it happen that your master was not summoned by his name being echoed back and forth across universes?
Oh, he's never been summoned before. Not to mention, he's the one who put an enchantment on his name, presumably, because he wanted to be relatively famous. And so, if he succeeds in being famous, then he certainly can't answer every fan mail he gets.
Okay.
I am waiting for that cease and desist letter that comes across the plains, because we keep misusing it. Sort of magnificent name is being attributed to multiple murders and natural disasters.
But thankfully, our good bard friend was able to counter the sound and make it go away with his bard skills.
Bardic skill.
I examined the corpse, and due to my experience with Thrycreen and their customs in society, I was able to discern that it was in fact a member of the Mountain Lake Thrycreen that we met, and quite possibly it could be somehow time traveled the Thrycreen individual that helped Moisha. Potentially, we can't know for sure, but since he's the only one we know of coming there, and we don't know what happened to him, it's pretty likely. Is our best guess, you know.
Right, and what items did you see in the corpse besides a couple of big bites?
Was it a stone arrowheads?
Small primitive crossbow bolts.
Crossbow bolts. That's right. Which I don't know how primitive they could be if they're crossbows, but.
Yeah, well, they were crude. They were crudely. The bolts were kind of crudely designed, but quite tough.
So we'll find out about that a bit later, I'm sure. Then we found the monolith, which, let me just get ready here, was clearly designed by ancient aliens.
Where's your tin hat?
I thought it was enchanting our bard friend to make it fall in love with it, and because I didn't want any half bard, half monolith babies running around, I had.
It doesn't work that way.
As far as you know, could be DNA sampling you.
It would just be half elf either way.
Right.
And as we were just getting ready to go, and deciding that there was nothing special about this monolith whatsoever except for its appearance,
and the low hum and the vibration and the coldness of it.
Well, if you want to count that. I started hearing a voice from it, or in my head, kind of. It wasn't really so much of a voice as an impulse requesting to be set free.
It was actually a voice, and it was different from the previous voice, which the other voice had kind of a female whispering sound to it. This one was
I've had so many voices in my head lately.
There have been two main ones. The previous one that you heard the most was this kind of female whispery voice. This one was a more a stronger male voice, definitely male.
Oh, you're talking about in character. I was talking about all the voices I've been hearing in my head since I've been in quarantine. But
It's not in your head, Andy. That's your wife asking you where the potatoes are. She's real.
Oh, that's right. I thought it sounded familiar.
Where are the potatoes? Where are the potatoes?
It wasn't like that. It
The
was
potatoes are right behind you.
It was more like, where are the red potatoes?
Red potatoes.
They're high in potassium.
Anyway,
Red one.
it really made me want to open it, but since I have been dealing with impulses from other entities in my head recently, I was sort of able to withstand it with the help of my friends. But I told them as such that it wants me to open it, and maybe it's not that bad, but I don't know. I think I've had enough experience with this to give any such impulses and strange voices a bit of a grain of salt or two as to whether I should follow their instructions.
Indeed.
And we seem to have pretty much decided that we were going to leave. We were just waiting for our good friend Farhad to put in his feelings and thoughts on the matter.
So, away you go, Joe.
I don't know if you know this, but I have some skills as a thief. And I am also of elven blood. Just being near a concealed or secret door, I have a very good chance of discovering it. Let me go investigate this beautiful, cool, souk-like area. If we get inside, it will be cool and delightful. Let's go, guys.
But what about the thing that wants to be set free out of it?
Well, have you ever been chained up against your will?
We lost your audio, Andy.
Oh, Andy, mute.
And I don't know if it was good or bad. It just said it wanted to be set free.
Yes.
So,
Much like you wanted to be set free when we tied you up. And so we set you free. And you've
well,
been temporary
after
since
we
then.
And
That was
maybe
us
he'll be
in our
grateful
heart
and give us
discussed a
treasure.
few things.
Sure. So, do you think there's just like one guy inside this box? Or maybe it's a passage somewhere, maybe a stairwell.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that I asked who it was and it didn't answer.
Correct.
Which is never a
Perhaps
good
it has
sign.
forgotten. Still, it may be a shortcut. We've been taking the long way for quite too long.
Well, I suppose it's better than taking the short way for too short. Or the short way for too long, for that matter. That'd be really annoying.
You want me to drag that for you?
But let me see if I can. Voice in the monolith, gold thing.
How close are you? Are you still staying at the edge of the jungle, or are you getting closer?
No, I'm standing where I was when I
Okay,
first heard
so
it.
30 feet away, right at the edge of the
Yeah.
sand. Okay.
Are you a good monolith or a bad monolith?
Of course, it's not going to tell you it's a bad monolith. I mean,
I'm just starting negotiations. We'll break down from there. But we'll start with the easy questions, and then we'll see if it's telling the truth or lying or saying anything at all.
all right.
And don't worry, I've got this. I'm going to interrogate the heck out of this tall gold shiny thing.
Okay.
You guys
Excellent.
should go
While
back.
Hawk is
It's
negotiating, Farhad is going to go and examine the thing and
Okay.
look for
So Farhad
any
walks.
secret or hidden doors.
So Farhad walks right up to it, and how close do you get?
Touching distance.
Okay.
So half a fathom.
Okay, and you're gonna start walking around.
Yeah.
Okay. You walk around. As you get to the north side, you sense that there is indeed a secret doorway beyond on that north side, the north-facing face. So you definitely sense that there is some sort of space beyond, but you do not know how to open it. You get the
Hey,
feeling.
you guys, I think I found the door to the north face.
You get the feeling that there might be some sort of unlocking mechanism that you don't see.
Show me. And I run up and
Okay. Moisture comes running up to the north side. Okay. You're not seeing what he's sensing.
can you point it out, Farhad? I don't see it.
Any response to my question, by the way?
As far as to the voice?
Yeah, from
Yeah.
the voice. Is it a good monolith or a bad monolith?
Yeah, nothing, no response.
Like, hello, I'm talking to you.
Do you say that aloud or are you just thinking it?
Both.
Okay, so first you think it, nothing happens. You say aloud, hello, I'm talking to you. Karn and Gennaro look over at you, puzzled.
Oh no, I said it out loud both times.
Okay, all right, sorry, I
And
missed
I
that.
explained that I was going to talk to.
Okay, sorry, I
I
missed
could
that.
cast heat metal on it.
They're still looking at you quizzically anyway. Okay, still quiet.
Person in the monolith. You know, we're thinking about setting you free.
Still
You want to
quiet.
be set free still, or you want us to leave you here?
Still quiet. Okay, Moisha?
Farhad, will you show me where you see the door? Maybe we should start pushing on it.
Well, the door is hidden. You can't really see it, but you can see, like, it's just a little bit different than the other sides are. There's, a different quality to the exterior gold. And Farhad starts sort of digging down
Okay,
to see, like, how deep this is.
sure, you
Yeah,
bet.
and Moisha will help.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Torin.
Torin is back by top because he's going to not want to get close to the giant evil monolith. And pretty much he's waiting for Talk to, have some sort of divine connection to start interrogating one way or another, see where this goes. And, if Karn and Gennaro are looking funny and Talk, be like, no, he's just he's talking with his mind to something that's inside the monolith, but probably not evil. But, probably is, but maybe not.
It's important not to be prejudiced. Just because it's a disembodied voice coming from a giant gold monolith doesn't necessarily mean it's evil. It probably is. You're right, but it could be not evil.
Well, is it saying anything to you?
It's still quiet.
Huh. Well, maybe it's because Farhad walked up close to it. I mean, last time it talked to us when we was all about to leave, wasn't it?
Yes.
I don't know,
Alright.
maybe he's trying to talk to Farhad or Moisha or something.
That's a
Because
good
they're close.
idea. All right, monolith person. We are getting ready to leave. We may have found an entrance, but we're not going to use it because you haven't said anything. So we assume you don't want to be set free anymore.
Okay, you're listening. All right, back to Lindalay.
I will go and actively look for a secret door in the location where he was indicating one should be.
Okay, so the north face.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm also wondering out loud, sometimes druid artifacts, like our monoliths or henges, are related to atmospheric and celestial positioning.
Mm-hmm.
So
And the moon is about half risen at this
Yeah.
point.
this could be...
It's about, what was it, noon when you guys got here, and the
Yeah.
moon's only risen halfway, and it's massive.
It could be triggered by something celestial, but I'm not. That's what I'm saying out loud as I am actively looking for a secret door on the north face.
Okay.
And no, I do not have any magic to help me out.
No,
with
but that's fine. At this point, now that he's kind of pointed out and they're digging, you kind of sense it as well, even though you can't quite put your finger on it. You definitely sense there's something beyond on this one. Maybe when are you going to tap it or anything?
Yeah,
He
I
can't quite
tapped
put
him.
his finger on it.
Yeah. Now you tap that, tap the other. As you go between the two, like, okay, maybe there is a slight more hollowness. It's still very solid, but maybe there's just the faintest, slightly more hollow sound to it when you tap. Now again, Farhad, you feel viscerally in the ground a vibration, and as you're digging, you can feel that vibration, and it feels like it's coming from this monolith. You haven't touched it yet, but it really feels like the closer you get to it, A, the air is cooler, and B, the vibration feels stronger. You can kind of hear it. I mean, it is right at the low end of hearing. Elves have a little bit better hearing. So you can kind of hear it as this very low humming sound, just a buzz, just a very, very low.
But it doesn't sound like an insect.
No, it's different than the insects, right? Yeah, there's all sorts of insects. Now the insects are leaving you alone because you have your, you guys are covered with your insect repellent, but they're everywhere flying around. The big ones aren't out, just a few inches in size, but they're not feet in size like the ones during the night. So, all right, so you're digging down, and it does go down into the sand, but it seems to, instead of continuing either the plane this way or going straight down, it actually seems to be slowly starting to invert. So almost like an inversion of what you see above the sand.
So it's a cursor over a sim.
Right.
There's going to be a giant person in there in a room with a house with no bathroom. As I'm just looking. If I get more than like a foot down, I'm going to stop.
Okay.
Digging.
Yeah, that's
So-
deep enough for you to tell that the angle is starting to invert the other way.
How much is this gold worth? And that's a lot of gold.
It depends on if it's solid or not. Even so, it's far more gold than we can carry with us. So it doesn't matter how much it's worth. We couldn't carry more than 1,000 gold coins worth of it each.
Oh, well, you could probably put a lot of it in the hole. Just saying.
Torin! Let's put this whole thing in your
Don't
hole.
do that. No, don't put anything like
We
this
can put the whole thing in his hole and
No,
carry it
no.
with us.
You will not be
We'll
putting
pick it up
any
later.
gold in any holes.
Yeah, I don't know about evil. I really don't want to try digging this thing out. Also, definitely evil. Just
You
saying.
don't have to dig it out. We'll put the dirt in your hole too. You're a
No.
genius.
It's all got all the food and wood. Well, I guess we really don't need wood here. We probably ditch the wood.
I mean, how big is the hole?
We may need the wood later.
And it is 6 foot diameter by 10 feet deep.
Oh,
Yeah, you can't go wider than 6 feet.
so it's not a very big hole.
So we can just chop off the top part?
I'll say, do not get rid of the wood. We'll need fires in the evening. It's cool in the evening, is it not? Or is it still hot?
No, it was still hot and
Okay.
humid, and you were only cool because you were still in the bubble and
Oh,
the cool
okay.
air coming out of the mists. That was
Okay.
another reason to stay there because it was cooler.
Okay.
No, it was outside of the bubble. It was sweltering. I mean,
Okay.
it was
I missed that.
80s,
Right.
but with 100% humidity, that was miserable.
I take the back of my axe, the flat end, and I
Okay.
go, dun 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 dun.
You wait for the 2 bits response.
Yeah.
It is with great effort I resist responding to that because no tune can resist. The shave and a haircut, 2 bits. Nothing happens other than there's a slight, very slight hollowness to it compared to the other side. But it's only when Farhad really pointed it out that you went, oh yeah, okay, I hear it now.
Cool.
Simbalabim. Open sesame.
So, Lindele,
Yes.
you mentioned that you and your druid folk have similar obelisks and standing stones that are related to the astrological events.
Yes. Ours usually aren't made of gold, though. That's a lot of metal. We like granite, sandstone even, but never gold.
Hey, Hawk, the obelisk, is it standing like straight up and down, or is it tilted or angled in any which way?
Straight up. It's about 15
Straight
feet
up.
tall as far as the base to its peak.
And in
And
druidic circles,
Possibly,
gold is symbolic of the sun. So I don't. And we have. Where is the sun?
What phase is
It's
the moon?
directly over. So the huge moon that's been rising is full, and it's only half risen from kind of more of the southern part. It's been kind of rising from the south.
And where's the sun?
The sun is directly overhead now, but it's been, as far as you know, rising east and west because that's what you use for your bearings.
I don't want to bicker, but how is the sun directly overhead and the moon full?
Good question.
Yeah. What's the other light source lighting the rest of that moon?
That's right.
It's the
How many
second
suns do they
sun.
have?
We
So
don't know
far,
yet.
so far, you've only seen one.
Are we on the sun? Maybe it's a planet and not a moon. We might be on the sun. It is hot.
Yeah, that would
It
explain
is
a lot.
hot.
QED. Quadrara demonstrandum, baby. Sorry. Cool.
I must say your grasp of our language is wonderful.
Yes, I'm fluent in Regnum Sapientium. Yeah, that's right. I'm not fluent in Critical, so I had to make sure I was doing it correctly. I really want to get in here. I'm tempted beyond all swaying. Perhaps a couple of us could stay here and figure out a way to get in while the rest of us go get happy juice from the springs.
It's too dangerous here for us to split up. I will stay with you.
I
Are
was
you
with
even
you.
sure that this thing is gold?
No, but it's a mystery. It's a door that longs to be opened. It's I've only been thwarted by a door dozens and dozens of times. But it's irked me every time. And I long so deeply to get inside any door that is, I can tell it's there, I can tell that it's sealed, and I know there's a way to unseal it, but oh, the temptation is maddening. Let's
You know,
be on our way. We'll leave it behind. It will
Roll your wisdom, Farhad. You're the only one. You're the only one who hasn't. I know it's not great, but still.
of which I have none.
Yeah.
Ooh! I rolled a 10 out of 10.
All right, that's sufficient. You know that while everybody did kind of a cursory look around, other than searching the obelisk itself, nobody had really done a thorough search of this clearing. Just something that you've noticed.
Okay. Then I would like to, wait a second. Did we search, like, the clearing for
In the
anything?
sand?
Yes. Footprints.
Yeah, you walked around the
keys.
border, but you didn't really search this
there
whole
were
clearing.
no footprints of any sort.
Yeah, no insects or anything in the sand.
Until we left them, at least.
Yeah, there are now.
Any waves in the sand from, like, wing beats?
It was very smooth.
Yep, no ripples from the
I'm
vibration or
going to
anything.
start searching the area.
Okay.
While he's doing that,
Yes.
I'm going to be asking Talk. Now, I'm very new at this illusionist stuff. Do we eventually learn the knock spell?
I'm not even sure really on that one. It's not like they give me a book with a list of spells of every level of training or anything. I've been trained by multiple masters now, and everyone's done things differently.
Well,
So I'm not entirely sure, but I can say I don't have that one now. and I don't know when I will, if ever.
Right. Also, sometimes things work on symbolic magic. Anybody have any keys on them?
Well, first of all, the thing in my head is only talked to me when we were leaving. So either I'm nuts, or it doesn't want us to leave, and that's why it talked. So maybe if we try to leave, it'll talk again, and we can get some more information out of it before we make any more decisions.
Okay, so let's pretend to be leaving and see if it talks
We'll
to
not
you.
pretend to be leaving. We'll just leave, and if it doesn't say anything, then that's their loss, I guess. You know, you snooze, you lose. You know, you speak. The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Okay. Moisha?
Moisha, using his dwarf boots, gently kicks at the wall.
Okay.
Um,
Good solid thunk, thunk, thunk. You feel the brief vibration and coolness even through your boot when you make contact each time.
okay, so press against the wall and kick
Oh, nice of
across.
Kick across?
Well, kick.
Oh,
kick,
okay.
kick.
Kick, okay.
Well, holding against,
Okay.
while bracing
Makes your hands
myself.
feel a lot cooler after how hot and sweaty everything is and just roasting. It is back up to about 115 degrees Fahrenheit at 100% humidity. So it is really hard on all of you because all of you were acclimatized to both high altitude thin air and bitter cold, and here you are in extreme heat, extreme humidity, and actually overly oxygen-rich atmosphere, right? And that's why it's feeling so oppressive and difficult to breathe.
I lay my cheek against the coolness.
Oh, that feels good. And the vibration is kind of pleasant as you lean against it. Talk, you notice Moisha is now hugging the obelisk.
You know, I'm definitely not going over to that thing because I'm not really fond of hugging inanimate objects. Giant mysterious one.
Feels really good. It starts cooling your overall body temperature that's way too hot.
You'll be real
Pleasantly.
sad when your face starts melting again.
The water is not far. We will find it.
Hey,
Torrent,
quick question, Hawk.
yes.
When I go in and out of the hole to get things,
Yeah.
how cool or warm is it in the hole?
It stays, it changes each time you open it, the air exchanges. So it's
Okay.
generally whatever it last was when you last had it open long enough for it to adjust. So right now it'd probably be nice and cool because the last time you were in it was before you were in this heat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So it traps that air from the last time that you're in it. And remember, that air runs out when it's closed. If you're in it, you will run out of oxygen. So when you open it, the air gets exchanged and it catches that air from the last time you opened it.
Since people are, busy piddling around the obelisk, Torrin's going to get cool water out and begin just kind of like dabbing at the necks of the horses and his own neck
Good.
too.
They need it because they were growing their winter fur and everything. They are just melting in this heat. Karn.
Into them and try to cool them down.
Yeah, even Karn's just in just pants and a light shirt in this heat and just sweating profusely.
Yeah.
Hey,
Torrin's
Karn,
pretty
you
much
can put on
in,
your plate
like,
mail and I
his
can cast
chain
chill
shirt.
metal.
Yeah. Dranera, however, is still in her long robes.
Don't you get hot in that?
Actually, it keeps me very cool.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, I ain't taking off my chainmail because it's saved my life more times than I can count already. But if I could, I'd just take it down to the.
It saved your life 3 times.
Ouch. 1, 2,
Sorry,
many.
sorry, Torrin, I couldn't resist.
Yeah, you heard any more voices in your head? How many are there now?
I think we're up to 3 now. 4 if you count the flashbacks to training with with my master.
All right, Farhad, you're kind of over to the northeast of where the jungle, because the jungle kind of just stopped in this circle, and then there was still undergrowth, and then it was just sand in a circle around this obelisk. You're kind of in the northeast area when you see something just inside the edge of the jungle glints a little bit in the sunlight as you're moving around, buried in the sand in the jungle there. But just a little bit of a glint of something.
You guys, I found something shiny over here. I'm going to check it out.
Is it a trap?
It's probably not a trap. It's probably completely safe, but I'll be careful just in case.
Would you like
Need
to
a shovel?
detect traps?
Yes.
All right, roll away.
13. That's
pretty good.
great. That's 45. Is
All
my
right.
disarm traps.
Yeah, you're fairly confident. So you kind of clear away carefully undergrowth. You don't see any tripwires, pressure plates as you slowly approach. And what you see is just kind of in the sand, just sticking out a little bit, is almost like the sideways, but kind of the same shape and same coloring as that obelisk behind you, but in miniature. It's only about 6 inches. You guessed it's half buried in the sand. But
And when you say sideways, you mean leaned over?
Yeah, it's mostly just one face is showing in the sand, and it's mostly
Okay.
baried.
It's a lever.
So instead of a 1 showing on top of my tetrahedron, there's like the 1, the 3, and the 4 showing.
Right.
Cool. I'm going to clear it off and examine it more
Okay.
closely.
So you carefully clear, and this one is not inverted underneath. It is just a pyramid shape, so it has a flat bottom rather than being a diamond shape. And you clear it and dig around it, and it is like a little mini golden pyramid. It is
Look
not.
up there,
It is
Farhad.
not. It's not humming or anything, and it's not cool to the touch. It's air temperature, although it's been in the sand, so you know.
I'm going to pick it up.
All right, you pick it up. It's really heavy. Feels
Cool. What is
really
that?
heavy.
It's very heavy. It's a pyramid like this one, but it's clearly made out of gold or perhaps uranium. Who knows?
It feels much heavier than even gold would
Windelay,
account for.
Did
Cold
you have,
takes
did
platinum.
you do something with this?
Even with your
Did you have
strength.
a baby with this thing?
No!
The obelisk has a flat top on it, doesn't it?
You're right. It does have a slightly. You're right. My bad.
Oh, okay. So does the one he find have a slightly flat top as well?
No,
Temperature,
it does not.
Oh, so does it look like it fits on top?
No, it's way too small.
Okay, just checking.
But good point. And the weight of it is so heavy, Farhad, it actually takes both hands to lift it, even with your strength.
Cool.
Do you need help carrying that, Farhad?
No, I've got it. It's just,
Yeah, you could lift it over your head, but you wouldn't be able to hold it too long over your head.
Power of the
Right.
cord be praised.
The strength of cord fills me with strength, so I will use cord's strength to be strong. I need to come up with better sermons. The strength of my body is no match for the strength of my mind.
We need to find a lifting belt of cord.
Indeed.
Cool. I carry it back over to the obelisk.
Okay. Okay. So you get over there, and as you get closer, you start feeling it kind of resonate with the vibration as you get closer.
Cool. I'm gonna keep getting closer.
Okay.
Hey guys, it's vibrating with a sympathetic vibration.
Does it feel like an evil vibration?
It feels like a good vibration. A good vibration.
You're picking up a good vibration?
I'm getting excitation.
I feel like I can hear a theremin or something.
I've never met a theremin. What kind of species are they?
Subspecies of thri-kreen, perhaps?
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that.
I'm going to bring it all the way over to the north face of the
Okay.
obelisk.
All right. You do so. You're standing
Are
there.
you sure we want to do this, or do we want to just leave and see if the thing talks to me again?
I mean, we can always leave.
I can quit whenever I want to.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm going to put the thing on the thing.
I'm singing my
Okay.
boy
Define
song.
how you put the thing on the thing.
I'm singing.
So you know how with some of your more cheaply made spring-activated locks, you may be able to use a magnet to open them.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to just place the pyramid that I have in my hand to move it around on the door side.
All right, so you go to kind of place it, and as you get closer, you feel it resisting and pushing back and pushing and resisting and fighting you. And it feels like it's going to pop out, right at you the harder you push. And there seems to be some sort of invisible force stopping you from making contact. It's taking all your strength. And the harder you get a little closer, the closer it gets, and you can still, you're inches away, and it's pushing back, and you see it start glowing. With just a faint glow, even in this daylight. It's got its own inner glow the harder you push.
I'm going to back off a little bit.
Okay, that reduces the pushback.
I'm going to change the orientation, have a different face,
Okay,
and try again.
okay. And still...
Yeah.
Stop resisting.
2 more faces.
Can we see this from the where Talk and I are at? Or
If you pivot around, if you kind of come from the south and work your way a little north, then you can be watching all this the whole time.
Okay. Well, but he's making grunting noises and
Yeah.
to stop resisting.
Well, and as everybody went to the north face, Karn, Janera, and others moved, staying close to the jungle, moved more towards the north side of this clearing, so they can watch all this. So you're getting to watch him.
I'm singing "Welcome to the Jungle."
Hey, Farhad,
Yes.
hold up. Give us a second. I'll see if I
Okay.
can't help you out. So I go and retrieve a good-sized chunk of wood
Okay.
from the hole. Probably something a good 2-3 foot long.
Okay.
I take the a wide one, big stout one.
Okay.
I take the brace and bit we have, and I basically just make a hole, a couple of holes to pierce it. I bring it over and pretty much use it as a handle, so we can put the tip of the pyramid on one side. Farhad can push and Torn can push.
Okay.
Just-
So
That's a good idea, Torin, but before we do this, let's try on some of the other sides of this obelisk.
All right, you
Lindalay.
do that when I finish making this.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, Lindalay.
I'm singing my song to bolster everybody up,
Okay.
and prepping fairy fire as usual.
Okay. Moisha.
Well, and I'm on the north
Kick,
face.
yeah.
So, I have squished over to the edge of the coolness so that Farhad could
Okay.
do his thing.
All right.
But I'm not letting go.
Okay. Talk.
All right. I guess we're doing this. Okay, so I'll just stay back here and tell you if anything speaks up to me. And out of character, whatever happens next, I blame you, Hawk, for doubting us for not interacting with things enough. If this is the obelisk of instant death.
Rocks fall, everybody dies.
Just don't stick your head in the.
your head.
Just don't stick your head in the.
Influencing us.
Yeah, just don't stick your head in the mouth of the mask in the cave.
The obelisk opens, and then the commies drop the bomb.
Okay, Joe, give me more specifics. You're trying to push. Tell me exactly. I need very specific action description here.
Cool. I'm going to try each of the 4 sides of
Okay.
or 5 sides if it's a 4-sided pyramid. I'm going to try all of the sides of the pyramid in my hand on each of the faces.
Okay.
I start at north. I'm going to go from north to the west side.
Okay. Well, so on the north side, anyway, as you're flipping it around, you know, resist. You finally find one side that it doesn't resist you and goes clunk against it.
Cool.
You don't feel it like sucked onto it, and it doesn't feel like it's stuck, but at least it stopped resisting. You found one side that it stopped resisting.
Okay, now I've got it on there. I'm
Yeah.
just going to move it around.
Okay. So you're moving around, and kind of, how tall are you? You're pretty tall, right?
6'4".
6'4".
Okay. So kind of near the upper end of your reach, boom, you feel it kind of, you're easily sliding, then boom, you feel some resistance. Like
Okay.
something's attracting it a little bit, and you slide past it.
Okay. I'm going to go back there.
Okay.
And,
And now you feel, yeah, there's definitely some attractive force going on there.
I'm trying to get it in. I'm going to try to find whatever the sweet spot is.
Okay.
Changing its orientation and
Okay.
moving it around.
All right. Yeah, you feel like it's supporting itself now. Do you let go?
Yeah.
Okay, you let go and it stays there. And now you hear over the low whine, you hear a higher pitch. Thrumming, maybe exactly 2 octaves higher, actually 3 octaves higher than the low bass of it. And it is now glowing a bluish color.
The whole thing or just that piece?
Just that piece.
Cool. Hey guys, I did something. It's glowing blue now. Do you hear that? I'm pretty sure I did that.
Everybody can hear it. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I
Hey,
definitely
you think
hear
there's
the
more of
bad
those in the
news
dirt?
coming.
What was
I
that,
don't
Torn?
know. I don't know if there are any more in the dirt, Torin.
Yeah.
We can
I
certainly
mean-
look.
So there's the little pyramid was 4 sided. The big obelisk is also like there's 3 sides to it above the ground. It's a 3-sided pyramid.
4-sided,
Top?
3 or 4.
Is it square base or triangle base?
Square based.
Okay, cool.
4 sides.
Yes.
Yeah, I bet there's like 3 more of those suckers sitting around here. They all click on like that and then pop, opens up.
Well,
Bet you it's gold it does.
go ahead and take a look. I'm going to see if I can, if the door has done anything. I want to, examine the door,
Okay.
Yeah.
So far, yeah. So you're searching that. Lindley, you doing anything differently? Are you still singing?
I'm
and
singing
supporting?
and preparing for spell casting because
Right.
I'm assuming we're going to need to fight.
Okay. Moisha? You're the only one not just dripping buckets anymore. Everybody else is just dripping sweat, and just really, the heat is really problematic. You've all been lightheaded since you got here, right? Remember that. And it's getting worse. The dizziness is slowly getting worse.
What is the temperature?
115 degrees Fahrenheit and 100% humidity.
Okay.
Alright,
I'm used to the heat, but that's still hot no matter where you are.
Right. Well, with the humidity, you don't get the evaporative benefit and
I am
such.
not used to humidity.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. What was that? Talk or Torin?
Torn is going to.
Focus.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Talk
The
first.
So, no, Torin started already.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Torin. Then.
Okay then. Torrin's gonna get the shovel out and start trudging around the edge, kind of poking at any specifically large, clumps of sand.
Okay.
And see if he can't find anything else.
All right. So you're searching the edge. Okay. Talk.
We're all going to die.
That's my line.
You say, hugging the obelisk. Okay.
Welcome to the jungle. And I
Yes,
go
this
hug
is-
it because I'm getting
It's
tired
pure
of being hugged.
gold. We'll die rich.
You can buy your way into heaven. Buying a stairway to heaven.
So Farad, you're
Fool's gold is? Fool's gold is any gold that you die for.
Farad. So you don't see any change to the door, where you believe there's a door.
Okay. How I'm gonna try to take the pyramid off,
Okay.
the small one
It
off.
it resists a little bit, but then it comes off.
Okay, then I put it back on.
Okay. Clunk. Clunks back on. Begins glowing blue again.
Cool. I'm gonna try rotating it
Okay. Which way?
90 degrees, counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise. Okay. You do so, and as you hit that 90 degrees, you hear a kunk, and then noiselessly, a diamond-shaped hole starts to appear in the middle of that north panel, and is sliding open, and it's pitch black beyond. Cool air starts wafting out as it slowly and without any sound just starts open. You all see this black void
Yeah.
opening in the middle. Lindale, what do you do?
And the darkness came for us all.
Boisha, you see it to the left opening this black void diamond shape right in the middle of this thing you're hugging.
It's so cool. Will the horses fit?
Right now it's only this big, so it's slowly opening.
Yeah.
Torin, you're kind of where you can see that happening. You're off to the northwest of it, and you can see that void opening up. No audio there, Adam.
So Torrance first like, I found some. Nope, that's a rock. And then I
Okay.
see that the hole's opening up. I'm like, oh, guess I owe you a gold. So pack it in and start coming back over and check
All right.
out the expanding hole of mysteries.
Okay, and talk.
Talk is gritting his teeth and talking out loud. So, voice that wanted to be released. I'd love to chat. I'm sure you've been in there a while. Maybe you're bored and lonely. You can talk to me. I'm a good listener. I can tell you anything.
Set them free.
Wait. Them? Wait, them? You said me before. Okay, I just heard the voice again, and it changed its tune. Instead of saying set me free, it said set them free. So whatever it is, you just multiplied.
Maybe we should take the crystal,
I don't know about this.
the glow stick in there. Is
I
any
don't
light
know.
getting in?
It's just pitch black beyond. It's getting wider and wider.
Torn takes his glow stick and fixes it to the lasso with a little thong and just kind of pitches it into the black hole to see if it lights anything up or this is entirely terrifying darkness.
Or if it just dissolves it and eats it up.
Okay. So it falls within, and it looks like it falls some distance, and you lose sight of it as it goes past, unless you want to peer in closer.
So the light disappears?
It went in, you saw it, and it fell down like into a pit out of sight.
Right, but he cannot see the light coming off of it anymore.
Well, how far back are you?
I'm probably 2 or 3 feet away from the entrance.
Okay, so you're gonna it just swallows the light. You see the glow of it, and it disappears as into a deep pit.
So it's not reflecting off of anything.
No, you
It's
didn't
not
see.
like-
Yeah, you didn't see any sign of walls or anything inside.
All right, I pulled my glow stick back out off the. And I was like, "Yeah, this sounds like it's completely terrible. Hey, tell you what, Farhan, just close it back up, take the big chunk of gold, and walk off." Huh? Go. Huh?
Finally, it stops opening as the bottom of the pyramid reaches the ground. The hole is about 7 feet from the bottom of the diamond shape to the top of the diamond shape.
I can see in the dark. I want to look in. I get up closer and I, not breaking the
Plane.
plane,
Mm-hmm.
but just right up to the plane and
Okay.
looking in,
All
looking
right.
for his glow thing as it's coming up.
Okay. You do see what looks like steps going down, and then they just fade beyond your vision. Deep, deep steps.
So
You
it's
still
deeper
do
than
not
60
see
feet.
any ceiling or walls or anything beyond. Like, you don't see like the inside of this. It's just darkness. And the light going in, lights the steps going down, but doesn't seem to light beyond a few feet.
I take the rock and I tap it on the inside.
So you're gonna reach inside with a
Yep,
rock.
I reach inside and I tap on the
Okay,
inside.
you reach in and and there's cool air coming
Right.
out at you. Okay, you tap it on the inside,
It makes a noise.
and you have to reach in a couple of feet. It's a
Okay.
couple of feet deep.
Click, 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 click.
Yeah,
I hear a
you
noise?
hear it. Yep.
All right.
You do feel a tingling sensation as you do that.
Tingling because of the cold?
No, as soon as you put your hand across that plane, you feel a tingling sensation.
Of energy.
Yeah,
Okay.
or something.
Right. So, and then I toss the rock down the stairs.
Okay. And then the sound doesn't seem to travel after a few stairs. You see it,
So
and then it fades from sight.
the sound disappears before the visual disappears.
Correct.
Which is unusual.
Yep.
Okay.
And it doesn't echo, even though it seems like it's in a vast chamber. Moisha.
I should probably do something useful.
Okay, we'll come back to you.
I think that's kind of everybody's thoughts right now in the real world.
Farhad.
Torin, how's your glow stick?
I checked my glow stick. Is it still a glow stick?
What do you mean you check it?
You
Uh,
examine it.
didn't
Out
melt.
now.
Is it
Didn't
damaged
turn
in
into
any way?
Something didn't
Still
shrivel
works.
up. Didn't catch on fire.
Nope.
Still just glows.
Nope, it just didn't glow any. It didn't radiate off of anything.
Lilele, how's your arm?
Examining it.
Goosebumpy.
Goosebumpy. No
Hairs
hairs
are standing
missing.
up on end, but nothing's missing.
Okay. Yeah, it seems to be okay. I felt some kind of strange tingling when I was in there. The sound
I mean, his
disturbed.
hairs are standing straight up.
One thing I'm thinking, interdimensional space. So maybe we should not bring the portable hole in.
That
I
sounds good.
second that. In fact, I say we do not bring anything in or go in at all.
Torin, rope me off. I'm going in.
All right. Lasso him up.
When Talk says that, you hear both Dranera and Karn give little grunts of agreement with Talk. They're still back by the edge of the jungle there.
I don't feel comfortable with you going in alone. Let's say
You
5
see
feet.
stairs going down.
Yeah. Let's say a 5 feet gap between us.
Well, I won't be going alone. Someone's going to be holding the other end of the rope.
Well, this only goes out to 30 feet. I guess we could get the rope off the mule, and that'd give you about, lashed together, 80 to 100.
Well, if I get 30 feet and I haven't discovered anything of value, I'll come out and we'll talk about it then. I don't want to just have an infinitely long rope and keep going until, it's too far away for anyone to come help.
Now my vision is 60 feet, right?
Yes.
So I saw 60 feet down, and there was
Stairs
nothing.
continued. Well, no, you couldn't. Your vision only went about 10, 15 feet, and then it just faded.
Okay, so that's different than
Yes.
sawing 60 feet and realizing that 30 feet of
Yeah.
rope is no good.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not sure. You just can't seem to pierce beyond that 10 or 15 feet.
Yeah, so I can only see 10 or 15 feet in there with my elven eyes.
Well, then my half-elven eyes will be every bit as effective.
7:30.
3 minutes. Okay, you're gonna step in.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Any
Going down
weapons
the
in
rope.
hand or anything, or
No weapons in hand, but I'm going to have my hand on my sword.
all right. You step through. As soon as your foot starts to break the plane, you feel a tingling sensation going up your leg. Was that Torin?
Because I would have been there when, I saw that sound wasn't moving right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell him, it's like, if you need me to haul you out, you just start wiggling on the rope real hard. I'll start pulling you in.
Like a trout in danger.
Exactly.
Okay, so one foot is on that first step down. It's, you're up to your thigh as far as intersecting the plane. You can feel that chilliness, the hairs on your leg standing up underneath your clothing and such. It's very nice and cool after all the oppressive heat. The air coming out is nice and cool. It's probably about 45 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, chilly.
Yeah, it feels really good though compared to the heat.
Yes.
Do you continue to step in?
Yep.
All right, you step in the rest of the way, and you feel that tingling sensation throughout your whole body, and you're now fully inside on a step, peering down. You can still only see down about 10 or 15 feet, and it becomes darkness beyond your vision.
Torin, can I borrow your glow stick?
Can I hear him from there?
Yes, you can hear him, but it sounds very muffled.
Yeah. I pop it off and toss it to him.
Okay, even your own voice feels like you're in you're in your father's weaving consortium where they store all the fabrics in piles, and it absorbs all that noise. It feels like that when you spoke.
So it sounds like I'm an NPR anchor.
Yeah. Even more muffled than that.
Here's a letter from my hometown, Lake Rita.
All right, so he hands you the glow stick.
Cool. I take it and I continue down.
Okay, it glows inside.
I'm going to be searching for traps as I go.
Okay, it is glowing inside, but it's not bouncing off of anything, beyond the 5 feet it normally does on the steps.
Does it light up the floor anymore?
Just the steps. No, just the 5 feet that it normally does. And again, you cannot see a ceiling or walls anywhere. It just feels like a void in every direction. And the stairs are about 3 feet wide, spaced they're about a foot, each step is about a foot deep, 3 feet wide, and then about a foot high each step.
Okay, foot run, foot rise.
Yes.
You guys, this might be bigger on the inside.
You hear him, but again, it's very muffled even after just a few steps.
Can you feel walls to the edges of the stairs? Or is it just a drop-off?
You just feel air.
No walls,
Cool, tingly air.
no railing.
Stay in the middle of the
Something about
stairs.
a pig on the side?
What?
He's just misunderstanding intentionally.
Ah.
Moisha?
Torin, do you need help with that rope?
Not yet.
I'll come near you and just in case.
Okay, so you
All right.
release your embrace. So there is your sweat that you left on there, but it quickly dribbles off. Beads off of it. Doesn't stick to it very long at all.
I'm singing into the hole. Be brave,
Farhad.
Farhad, be brave.
And with each step, his voice fades very rapidly. By the 5th step, you can no longer hear his singing.
Farhad, don't be a hero.
You cannot hear that by the time you get to the 5th step. Okay, so you're down about 5 steps down, and it continues on down into the darkness. And we're gonna take a break. We're gonna take a 10-minute break, and we'll pick it up from there.
All right,
We'll be back.
So I'm waiting for the doors to close,
Sure.
cutting the rope and the stairs to disappear.
Yeah, well, you can definitely tell that they would do so. Those edges are super sharp, clean on there.
Ooh,
And again, of that same strange material. Hello and welcome back to Heroes of the Mist. I'm your host and Game Master Hawk Robinson, and we're continuing the second part of our April 26, 2020 episode of Heroes of the Mist in the Multiverse Worlds of Beru using modified Advanced Dungeons & Dragons First Edition rules. And when we left off, Farhad, played by Joe, had stepped down into the darkness down the stairs inside of the Golden Obelisk, and was about 5 steps down and was testing things out, and people were outside very nervously doing things. He could no longer really hear them after the 5th step. Yeah, and Moisha was enjoying, even though you're not hugging it any longer, by standing in front of it, you're getting a nice cool breeze coming out of it. Yeah, it feels good, and it's cooling all of you down. It's got a lot of air coming out, helping cool you down. So let's start with Lindley.
Okay. As soon as he gets to the point where he's starting to disappear from my vision,
Which is after about the 5th step.
right? I get anxious and paranoid, so I step in after him,
Okay, so
trying to sneak in.
With no rope?
Will you attach the rope or no rope?
I'm going to hang on to the rope.
Okay, you hold the rope and step in.
Right.
Okay. And Farhad, you feel a slight tug on the rope, just a little bit of a shift. Do you look back above you?
I turn around.
Okay. You can faintly see the opening and silhouetted as Lindley stepping in. Because the light is super bright from your perspective through the portal way. It's blinding white, from the contrast. And you can see this.
I look for an upside down reflection of him on the opposite wall.
You do not see any reflections in any walls anywhere.
That is a very obscura camera.
Yeah. That's a shame that didn't work.
Yeah. Yep. No, good try though. It would have been quite large too.
I keep
Oh,
going.
looks like we lost another one. What is it? Is there like some kind of pointy-eared convention down there or something? I don't understand why.
The pyramid is made of elf knit.
Tor's gonna, try talking to Lindley as he goes. I was like, hey, shouldn't you get like tied on or something? As he's stepping through.
Yeah. You can hear him, but it's getting faint very quickly.
I take my belt and loop it around there, because the belt dangles a lot, so there's a lot of
Okay,
dangle there.
sure.
So just loop that up there and tie it
Okay.
up. There, I'm tied off.
Okay.
Off.
All right.
No.
Yeah, no echo. No echo at all. No bouncing sound surfaces at all.
I'll bet I could make an echo in there.
You want to try? Now, how far back are you, Talk, from the entrance?
I'm still back by the tree line.
With Karn and Dranera?
Yeah.
Up in the north. Yeah.
I rearranged myself to be able to see what's going on.
Yes.
But,
Yeah, you're
I'm not getting
northwest.
any closer until I have very good reason to.
Okay, so you're 50 feet away.
Especially, I did not like when the voice in my head changed its tune from me to them.
Yes.
That put off some major signal flares.
Yes. All right.
Red flag.
So Torin, he does that with his belt. And Moisha?
It's so cool. So, I poke my toe in over the edge.
Okay, you feel a tingling sensation. Okay, Linda, you continue to step down as Farhad, or are you trying to catch up with Farhad?
I'm trying to just keep Farhad in my vision.
Okay, so it's same pace, same
Yeah.
distance, 5 steps away. Okay.
How far do I have to step in to see how deep the stairs are?
Well, you can peer in, and you can see they go down. You can
No,
see
just one riser.
from where you're standing, just
Okay.
a few feet away. You don't have to step in to see a few steps in,
Okay,
like
but
2 steps in.
a stair that is a foot deep is too deep for my short little legs.
It would be awkward. You
to
could
be-
manage it,
to-
but it would be awkward.
to do comfortably.
Yes.
So I will step back out
Okay.
and stand next to Adam just in case he needs help.
Who?
Torin,
Okay.
excuse me.
Okay.
Just
All
give
right.
me 3 steps, mister.
Okay. And so Talk's holding back. Torin's still feeding the rope. Farhad, back to you.
Cool. I keep going.
All right. You go down another 5 steps. The temperature still remains constant. And are you doing anything, looking around, or just staying focused ahead? What are you doing as you go?
I'm looking around. I'm checking for traps.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
60,
I'm
Out
playing
of?
my song.
80.
45. Okay. Okay. So you don't see any. All right. So you're now 5 steps down. Are you looking around or staying
I'm
focused
looking
on
up,
Farhad?
looking around.
Okay, yeah, again, no surfaces. You look back, you see that diamond is super just bright white. You can kind of make out the top of the head of the silhouette of Moisha and Torin at the outside of the mouth there, but just as silhouettes in that blinding white light. And Farhad continues down. You're gonna whistle. Okay, you whistle, and it sounds very muffled, like you're whistling into like you're surrounded by a bunch of fabric only a few feet out, and it just seems to absorb the sound.
Did I have a similar experience in the mist?
Yes.
Okay. And I just quietly sing my bolstering song, hoping he can hear it. But since it doesn't go very far, I'm not afraid of attracting
Right.
attention.
Okay. All right, Farhad, you go another 5 steps. So, Torin, how long is that rope?
Rope can go out to 30 feet.
Okay, he's about 30 feet now. He's hit the edge of the rope.
Right then, so I hold tight and
Okay,
don't let
you
it
feel the
go
rope go
farther.
tight, Farhad.
Am I 10 steps down?
You're
Or am I-
10. You're about. You're coming up on. What's that?
Well, am I like 20 steps down?
No, you are only 10 steps down, and you feel Torin tug on the rope.
Cool. So 10 steps is like 20 feet. I'm doing hypothesis in my head.
Yeah, no, you're 10 steps and yeah. Well, you used up 30
it's
feet
not
of rope.
30 feet.
Yeah, 25 feet or so.
Yeah. Cool. I stop and turn around.
Okay, you see.
Oh, wait, can I
Yep.
see anything from where I am? I'm still in the dark.
Yeah, it's still you can see about 5 more steps, faintly, with your elven vision only, not from light, and it just you see the steps continuing down.
Not even with the glow stick he has with him?
Yeah, that just lights up 5 feet,
Okay.
and again, no walls at all. It's just steps in black in an abyss.
Need more room.
Okay, you cannot hear Lindalay at all.
Can I see Lindalay at all? Can I see
No.
any of the...
Not after he
Okay.
went past the 5th step. He kind
Alright.
of just stepped right past it and faded completely.
I turn back around and head back.
Okay, all right. So Farhat
I
comes
said-
back up to Lindalay.
Okay. Why were these stopped?
We're at the end of the rope. I said I'd come back when we got to the end of the rope.
Already? Okay, fine. And I start heading back up.
All right. So you start seeing the two of them side by side coming
Alright.
back up the steps.
I feed them the rope and be, just kind of wait for him to get to the light.
Okay.
Still-
you guys step, and it's blinding. It
Yeah,
hurts
I'm
your
actually looking
eyes.
more over my shoulder to avoid looking at that blinding light.
All right, Farhad.
I switch eyes.
Okay. And then you step through the threshold.
Yeah, and I exit. Yeah.
Okay. As you do so, you feel that tingling sensation intensify for a second as you step back out into the oppressive heat and humidity. Oh, it was way nicer in there.
What do they look like?
Well, other
Do
than
they
their
look
hair is a
changed at
little
all?
frazzled and standing on end a little bit, and a little goosebumply, they seem fine.
No frost.
They're a
marks.
lot less sweaty than when they went in.
That was, you should go in just for a moment. It's great.
Moisha
Hey,
immediately steps
Farhad?
inside on
Yes.
on the top step.
Okay, Moisha steps in one step, immediately starting to cool you off most pleasantly. Go ahead, Torn.
Torn kind of gives them the look up and down because they go into the inky blackness and just come back out and they're like, so, Farhad, how do you feel?
Completely normal. I mean, it's cool in there, and you can't see from very far. It's definitely dark, but Lindalay will of course correct me. It's got a little bit of a tingly, quiety feeling that it was when we came through the mist to arrive here.
Yes, it definitely felt that way.
But it's dark instead of white, and it's in a building. It seems like perhaps these were built to travel the mists. So, if we have business here, we should probably do our business here, and then perhaps try to leave via this obelisk, this pylon, if you will.
Well, that certainly sounds like a plan. I mean, if we want to check it out, it's not going anywhere. We can get our water and come on back.
Should we take
Exactly. So, let's take the key, put it in your hole, and we'll continue on to Moisha's magic hot springs.
Sounds good, because, I was thinking, how are we actually going to get back to where we started? I mean, I guess we could backtrack all the way through that one land with the giant elephant.
Mastodons?
Mastodons, them's the words. But yeah, and once we did, it wasn't quite clear how we was actually going to keep going north. I didn't want to have to backtrack all the way down the mountain.
Exactly. That doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense at all. So, let's be on our way, get our business done here, and we'll figure out a route out of this place once we've completed our business here.
Okay.
Right then.
So, it's now, by your calculations, probably about 1 in the afternoon. You stopped here around noon. You've been here an hour. And the sun has not moved at all. The moon is now fully risen, and it's still very huge. Again, it's far to the south, and it's only just barely above the horizon. and seems to not be going high into the sky. It seems to be staying low in the sky, but it has moved. The sun has not moved at all.
No, Moisha, you have to come out of the pyramid. We're going on now.
Okay.
Oh, it feels so good in there.
It does. So
We'll get that magic water and be out of here.
Okay. You step out. What the?
I just
step out.
realized my music teacher wife has all of her homeschooling instruments in here. I got tambourines and slide whistles and
Jonesy
those
Lily.
wooden scrapey fish things.
So everybody has a musical instrument to play but the bard.
There's no shortage laying around here, John.
But I can't play.
And that's a problem.
So that's a dangerous combination. I'll try and restrain myself. Though.
Please.
You know, you've now compelled us to have a situation where we have to use our musical talents to get through some espionage thing, and everyone's expected to play an instrument now. I mean, that's just gonna have to happen.
The power of the bard compels you.
Is this the musical episode? Thanks, Buffy.
Yeah, okay.
It'll be like Mickey and the Beanstalk.
All right, so you step out, tingling sensation happens, you're back into the oppressive heat and
Yes.
humidity. Okay, you're gonna go ahead, Farhad. What do you do?
Pull the lever,
I'm,
Kronk.
once Moisha's out and everybody's safe and clear, I'm gonna reverse order the steps I use to open the door.
Okay, specify.
I am going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise.
Okay, as you do
and
so.
then pull it off.
Okay, and sure enough, and it's glowing blue and all of that. Then it slowly, quietly, and silently begins closing. When do you pull it off?
Oh, I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to wait for it to close all the way.
Okay.
And then I'll pull it off.
Okay, it's not very fast, so it takes, half a minute or so to finish closing. When it closes, you cannot see the seams. Even though you know where they are, you
Right.
cannot see the seam where it joins together.
And yet there's no magic involved here.
Yeah, it's quite...
Maybe it's a new kind of magic, like psionics or...
All right.
For science!
I told you, ancient aliens.
All right, then
All
you
that's going on,
then you're
pulling
gonna
this
remove
hole out.
and then you're gonna remove the key.
Yes.
Okay, and again, very heavy as soon as you pull it away. And as you pull it away, the yellowish glow fades away completely.
Doran, this is very heavy. Bring me your hole, please.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right here.
You estimate it might weigh around 120 pounds.
Dang. That's heavy.
That's a lot of gold.
That's almost a keg.
That requires a 12 strength to lift above your head.
Yeah, well, he's got it.
And then some.
Exactly.
By the power of core.
Exactly.
So we put it in the hole. Let's meet with the others and tell them what we saw,
Okay.
Okay.
and then head off to the thing.
All right.
Saw absolutely nothing. Just stairs and
but
darkness.
That is a result.
Yes.
There was no booby traps. There was no rivers of blood. No spider monkeys. Nothing.
No dark monkeys.
Yeah.
Or monkey spiders, those are the worst.
All right. So you gather back with Janera and Karn, who are just, they've been trying to stay in the shade there on the edge of the jungle, just sweltering.
You should have come to the thing. It was so nice. It was so cool.
Janera, though, does, again, she keeps kind of veiled and such, but you don't really seem to get the sense that she's melting in this heat the way everybody else is.
Karn, if you put your plate mail on, I can chill it for you. Chill metal.
Really?
Yeah. It won't last forever.
How long will that last?
Oh, I don't know. Just long enough to annoy you.
All right, you're going to start hacking your way through Moisha
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Lindalay? All right, so you start hacking your way north. Hackety, hackety, hackety.
Well, that's the regular place.
Hey.
Yes.
Moisha. I'm
Yes.
talking to
Okay,
Moisha.
go ahead.
So, Daenerys says that all them robes that she's wearing actually keeps her cool. How does that work? You do clothes. How does that work?
Well, it's a matter of the material. But
Oh, okay.
Farhad would know more about that kind of material. We don't have those kinds in my homeland. I can sew them, but we don't have much truck with them. We have animal hides and cotton.
Oh. What kind of material is it?
It's more of a silk, I would imagine.
Some silks, some flaxen materials, some linens, several different light types of materials. Even wool, in fact, can be cool if it's fine enough. It's a matter of the robes being light, and as you move, the robes capture air inside of them, and they move the air around. It's like having a servant fan you as you walk.
All right, so you hike
I
through.
hear Iridian cotton is like the best. Like if you get a high thread count of Iridian cotton.
Iridian cotton is for how do I say this? The poor? Yes. Any material you can grow in your yard, that's for everyone. The common man. The hoi
I hear
polloi.
it's better than regular cotton. It's like the best cotton ever.
I don't cotton to such opinions.
So this is the banter going on as you guys are trudging through the forest here, or the jungle, in the oppressive heat and everything.
Are there any
No
field
final
notes?
words from the voice?
Nope. It's silent.
Leave?
It's silent.
Okay.
What was that, Farhad?
If we are tromping through the forest, are there any field mice?
Yeah, jungle. Jungle, but yeah. And you guys are on the left side of the pathway this time because it seemed to be a little bit easier to navigate than the right side.
Okay.
And you know that at some point you've got to hang a left anyway.
Okay.
So that's the way you're hacking your way through. And you're a couple hours in. The heat is really getting to you. So Tak and Torin, neither of you went inside the obelisk, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You are now at a -2 to all actions due to heat stroke. That's thinking, doing, just everything. You're at a -2. You're just getting that dizziness and everything else you were experiencing when you first got here has gotten to the point where it's starting to affect your functioning in every way.
Okay, I take a cloth from my bag
Uh-huh.
and I pour some water on it
Okay.
and wrap it around my head.
Okay. It makes you, it just blends with the rest of your dampness.
Well, but it'll be cool for a minute, right, won't it?
Nope, because there's no evaporation happening.
Oh, yeah, the humidity's too high.
Exactly.
Okay. And never mind, I would have known not to do that.
All right, that's fine.
All right.
However, those of you who did go into the pylon, you're now only at a -1 to all actions.
Okay.
I am wearing my Iridian travel gear.
Yes?
Am I still -1?
Yes. Your Iridian travel gear is great in a dry, hot climate, but this is a moist heat, not a dry heat.
Do you need anything moistened?
I mean,
It's not. It isn't serving as well as it would in a dry heat. So, Lindley, are you wearing armor?
Just my leather.
Okay, then actually you will be at a -2 then from the heat.
Okay.
Moish.
Moish is also in leather.
Okay,
so.
then you are at a -2.
So
But Farhad is only at a -1.
Top says, can we maybe take a rest for a bit? Is there some water around here we can maybe...
And actually, correction. So Talk, you're not wearing armor. Torn, are you wearing armor?
He's got his magic elven mail.
Yes, I have my pretty much I'm only wearing my magic elf armor.
Okay, then actually, because of the heat, you're actually at a -3.
All right then.
So.
all right. So
can we take a rest somewhere? Is there maybe a stream somewhere that doesn't have little tiny flesh-eating things in it that we can wiggle our toes in?
Yeah, I mean, I feel
do I
like
detect water?
I can look for a place to rest, but I don't dare.
I think the horses are much better.
Yeah, the
put
horses are just dragging badly. And you've been noticing since you left the pylon there, it's been steadily going uphill.
Okay. I will
course
look
it
for a
has.
place where we can rest that's not just plonked in the middle of the road or the middle
Well,
of the...
because you're having to hack your way through the jungle.
There's nothing? Okay.
So, I mean, you would have to hack your way to a place.
Okay.
There's no clear path. So you suspect if you hang a left into the deeper jungle that some of the undergrowth might be shaded from above and be less thick because the
Okay.
trees are larger and
Right.
denser above. But you don't know. You just that's you suspect.
Okay.
But then you would have no bearings, and and through here you can't even the sun's still overhead. You can't see the moon right as soon as you went back into the jungle here, and the sun's up there, but you can't actually see the sun through the dense overgrowth and everything. So you're nervous about losing your bearings because at least here you can see the difference
Right.
in height and that
Okay.
you're going the same direction.
So we can stop, but I don't dare leave the pitiful excuse for a trail that I have. I'll get lost.
Do I see
Yeah.
that Torin is suffering more distress than the rest of us?
Yes.
All right, it's only going to last 7 rounds, and
Okay.
it is a second level spell.
Okay.
But I cast Chill Metal on
Okay.
his armor.
Okay. What's that drop it to?
It drops it to cold, which is no damage
Okay.
and no disability,
Okay.
but it is cold.
What temperature is that?
No, I didn't actually say a temperature. It
Okay.
said
All right. Do you warn him or just do it?
I'm dumb. I just do it.
Do you have to touch it or is it a distance thing?
Actually, it's a distance thing.
Okay. So
And-
all of a sudden, Torin, your armor suddenly just gets chilly as heck. Which feels great, but yeah, it is a sudden it's like in a hot summer day
Oh,
jumping
that's
into
Dungeon Master.
in a
Yeah,
cool
no, that's
lake.
funny.
If it's unexpected, it's like whoa. So he doesn't intake a breath,
And I say, "You're welcome."
and your armor is instantly covered in a bead of condensation.
It's the temperatures are cold, icy, or freezing.
Okay.
Icy, you do 1 to 2 hit points.
Because you have
none.
a choice. Okay.
Freezy gives you 1 to 4 hit points and amputation of fingers, toes, noses,
Oh,
or
jeez.
ears.
So it's just really cold.
It's just cold.
Okay.
I'm trying
Okay.
to bring him back
Yeah.
Are
from
you
What the
consulting
heck
the player's manual for that?
Player's Handbook.
Yeah.
Yes.
So DMG might have the.
Actual. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My-
The version of that spell that I'm looking at says that it's cool metal is the reverse of heat metal,
yeah.
and heat metal will last 7 rounds, and round 1 makes metal warm. Round 2 makes
Oh.
it too hot to touch.
Okay.
Round 3 makes it give you blisters, and then it sort of reverses down.
Is that Unearthed Arcana or something?
No. Player's
So
Handbook.
this is the player's handbook.
All
Right. I think he's right. So
Okay, so it's
So
just
the reverse cool metal, it might be cool to touch from the beginning, but it might end up causing him damage later.
okay. You better double check that.
well, will the heat, the oppressive heat around it, help prevent it from getting beyond that?
Why don't you read the details of the spell and see if it's actually a harmful spell?
Chill metal is countered by resist cold or any great heat, i.e. proximity to a blazing fire,
Okay.
not
Right.
a mere torch.
Okay.
Magical sword, wall of fire.
Okay.
Exposure to cold or
So
ice.
it's
or
not
spell.
something you can control the degree of. I was trusting you on that.
Well, I was trusting me on that too. By means of heat measures was able to.
You'll go down, down, down.
Thanks, Joe.
I mean,
Thanks, Joe.
No.
yeah, you're welcome.
No,
I
actually.
could have kept my mouth shut.
No. I
and,
appreciate
everyone
you.
would be happy.
No, I appreciate you looking out for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, first
I
round.
also
spells-
like, oh dang, this spell doesn't work the way I intended. I'm sorry, I am totally giving you Friesenberg.
Sure,
Yeah.
you bet.
On the first
Here,
round.
this will
spell-
cure you. It's a potion of poison. But you've been poisoned, so I'm fighting fire with fire.
Farhad logic.
I got something that'll help. They say it helps a lot with cooling. It's called Freon. Go ahead and
Drink it.
And
It'll set you
spray
free.
it all over you.
And be sure to be smoking something while the vapors are being released.
Wow, that's really sweet.
That would be coolant. So what'd you find?
First round of the spell, the effect is merely to cause the metal to be very warm and uncomfortable to touch. There's also effect on the last melee round of the spell's duration.
Okay.
The second and sixth next to the last round effect, it is to cause blisters and damage. The third, fourth, and fifth rounds, metal becomes searing hot, causing disability and damage to exposed flesh, as shown below. Note also the materials such as wood, leather, flammable cloth will smolder and burn if exposed to searing hot metal. Such materials will cause searing damage to exposed flesh in the next round. Fire resistance potion or ring or protection from fire spell totally negates the effects of heat metal spell, as will immersion in water or snow or exposure to cold or ice storm spell, etc. For each level of experience the druid casting the spell, he or she will be able to affect the metal in one or more man-sized creatures, armor, or a single mass of metal equal to 500 gold pieces in weight cumulative. The reverse chill metal counters the heat metal spell, or else causes the metal to act as following: cold, icy, freezing.
Okay. All right. So you do that to try to help him out.
Mm-hmm.
You're counting on how hot it is to hopefully not hurt him.
Right.
So he kind of does an intake of breath because it suddenly gets cool, but it is pleasant. The next round, it's getting even colder, but it's still pleasant compared to the heat.
Yeah, Torn, since no one's explained what was happening
Yes.
to him,
Yes.
is fighting on his horse to take his
Okay.
shirt off.
All right.
I said, no, I'm cooling you down. It's okay.
Ah, that's what you did this.
The cold is starting to burn your hands where you grab the outside of it. You've got enough padding underneath that it's not hurting you underneath, but your hands in contact with it are starting to get frostbitten.
Nope, taking it off.
All right.
Off.
All right.
on the ground.
Roll a save versus spell.
Uh,
Does
don't
it have a
dice,
save?
Andy. Roll
Does it
for
have a
me.
save?
Saving throw, none.
Oh, I'm doing it anyway because he's trying to throw it off.
Right,
me,
yeah,
so.
that's fine.
Save versus
Well,
spell.
Okay. Spell's 13.
Okay. What'd you roll?
I asked you to roll it for me.
Oh,
but I
sorry.
understand you.
I'm sorry.
6.
Okay. Yeah, so in the process of throwing it off, you get frostbite on your hands, and you take 2 hit points of damage. Your hands
Ow,
are,
ow, ow, ow,
your
ow.
fingertips are frostbitten.
Moisha!
Yes.
Medic!
So it falls to the ground, and all of the condensation is turned to ice on frost and ice on it.
I have ointment for mild rashes and chapped lips. Will that help frostbite at all?
I actually
We
have frostbite
frostbite
medicine.
stuff. We
Oh,
have
okay.
lots of frostbite
Yeah, I
stuff.
have lots of
Yeah, you
frostbite
were
medicine.
going into the mountains.
Oh, that's
so
right.
You had prepared for that. All right, so
I run up
Lindley.
and start chipping some of the ice off of the armor,
All right.
and like putting some on my head and back on the back of my
Okay.
head.
Okay, that feels really good. Feels really
My
good.
dagger,
The good thing is,
Oh.
though, what? What'd you find?
Nothing happened. You still have your armor on.
Why
what?
now?
I looked it up in the Dungeon Master's Guide,
Okay.
and they have extra explanations for
Yeah.
spells.
Yep.
Heat metal. Elven chain is not subject to the spell.
Oh.
All ferrous-based magic armor is entitled to a saving throw versus magical fire. If the save is successful, the heat metal does not affect it. Stupid elven.
Need to look these things up.
So this entire scene is
Like
Counting on you as the rules lawyer, John. Double check
Yeah,
the
but he's a
DMG.
rules civil lawyer and not a rules criminal lawyer.
Yeah. I'm trying to be
So
useful.
make sure you double check in the DMG those spells before you
Well,
cast them and read them
Let's see
thoroughly
here.
He's like
until you're
a
familiar with them.
All
right.
Lindley did say to Karn with an earshot of the party he could chill the armor, right?
Yes, he did say that, but nothing has
Okay.
happened.
All right then. So Torn's like, hey,
My bad.
so you can make armor cold or like any metal cold?
Well, apparently anything but elven chain. And magical armor, magic armor might resist it.
Which you're
So
pretty sure
Torn
Karn's
goes and he
armor
gets
is
some of the
quite
metal
good.
batons that we use for climbing, and he gets some of the gallon-sized bags of water, and he just dunks like 2 or 3 of the batons into the gallon-sized bags. Like, can you chill those metal batons?
Yes, that I can do.
Make some ice bags.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, they freeze solid.
Now we're talking.
Okay, you have
Yeah.
several frozen ice bags. You can use those
good.
to. All right. And this is while you're resting, so you're able to drop your penalty 1 point temporarily.
I make sure to rub it on the horses.
Yeah, it helps. It helps them temporarily.
Finally get a second
they
level
lean
spell
into
and I
it.
blow it.
Within about 30 minutes, though, they've melted back to normal.
How many times can you do that? Is that one of those things you just do all the time? Please tell me it is.
Oh no! This is not a cantrip. I can. Let's see here. I'm pretty
So you
sure I.
estimate it's 4 in the afternoon at this point.
Nope, that was my
And
one casting of
everyone's
second level
doing their
spells
thing.
for the day.
The sun still seems to be exactly in the noon position still. It hasn't moved.
Am I not in the same place as I was?
Well, you notice when you were at the pyramid for an hour, it didn't move either, but the moon moved.
Yes,
It had
but
been
I'm
moving
I'm
until you guys
wondering
got
if
to the
I am
pyramid.
even in the correct land.
It definitely seems to be the correct land from every indication, but it definitely seems to be a when thing is off. But you don't remember the sun ever stopping.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. And it was behaving normally when you got here yesterday, and up until you got to that pylon, it seemed to be behaving normally.
Farhad, you didn't touch anything inside, did you?
You don't know any of this. This is only Moishe who's noticed
Okay.
this. Ranger stuff.
Yeah, we wouldn't notice that the sun doesn't move.
Well, in the jungle you can't see it, so it's.
It's very, very strange. The
What
sun,
is?
the sun has not moved. I don't know how we stopped the sun.
Wait, what?
We've
What do you
been
mean the sun
traveling for
hasn't moved?
we've been traveling for hours and the sun is still overhead. It has not moved. This was not true yesterday. This is not true the last time I was here. Something
Well,
changed and the sun
we-
has not moved.
You can't see
Well,
the moon.
we weren't here all day yesterday. Maybe it's just like really slow.
No.
In the morning.
Pardon?
In the morning it moved normally.
Yeah, say it was fine in the morning. It moved normally this morning. It moved normally the last time I was here. Something is different. Perhaps something escaped from that pylon. Perhaps the pylon froze the sun.
Is the moon moving?
I can't see the moon.
Well, you can't see the sun either, but you seem to know where that one is.
You got enough indicators. that it's
I
on
can
the-
tell there's shadows and things. But I can't tell for the moon. Let's get back on the road, but I'm worried.
So everybody
Yeah.
got.
The sun's not moving. It's going to get way hotter, right?
I imagine.
We have heard and seen wildlife still, haven't we?
Oh yeah, you hear all the animal sounds in the distance, and you know
Okay.
the wildlife.
The universe isn't frozen.
Nope. Everything else. I mean, they keep their distance, but you can hear the roars and cries and screeches.
I pick up a
In the
rock,
jungle.
let go.
Yeah. it
Yep,
drops
gravity still
normally.
works.
Yeah, gravity check. All right, you guys gonna get back onto hacking ahead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So you continue hacking your way. A couple more hours go by. If you relieved the penalty, you've got the penalty back. So it bought you a couple of hours at least.
Okay. That was an expensive relief.
So you go a couple more hours. Your progress is getting slower and slower from the heat and the fatigue. So it's about 6 when you realize you've come up on you've come up on a sudden incline on the hill. That really goes steeper.
Okay.
Oh no, not more climbing.
So it was like this, and it just went to like that.
Ooh.
So still heavily jungle, but definitely just increased the angle. You
Where-
estimate you're up, a few hundred feet from where you were back
And
at
it's
the
still
pylon.
noon.
And it still appears to be noon. It's pushing almost 120 degrees now. Fahrenheit.
Can you imagine how many final gunfights are going off right now and just not ending?
It's high noon.
You mean crossbow fights, right?
There's just sheriffs and outlaws in perpetual drawl right now. Just not sure what to do.
Just go back.
So, we have to our west a cliffside, correct? That we're kind of following along.
No, to your east.
Oh, to our east.
Yeah.
How far away is it to the east?
You don't know anymore because you lost sight of it a long time ago once you went into the jungle.
Okay. All right.
Somebody would need to climb one of the trees or something, which are about 30 to 50 feet high here. Or the taller trees, which are over 100 feet plus.
Farhad, would you like to climb up and take a look around?
I'll climb.
What? No, I
Marsha,
got this.
you're so used to being close to the ground. I will do the climbing. It's why I am here.
Fine.
He's part monkey,
Yeah, he can climb. On this type of climb, he doesn't even have to roll.
Go ahead. Climb.
As a thief, this type of climb is
yeah.
so easy, there's no roll required, right?
By focusing all the chakra in the bottoms of my feet, I walk up the side of the
Okay, Naruto.
You fall flat on your back.
I thought it was Remo Williams.
You told me I didn't have to roll.
You still have to put some effort into it.
I did. I put all the chakra in my body. Yeah.
So somehow in your heat delirium, you try walking straight up the tree. He falls flat on his back.
walk
You
over
thought it
and-
was going to work.
I walk over and start climbing.
Seemed like a good idea at the time in your head in the heat delirium. Okay, Moisha's trying to climb a tree. Do you want to scurry past him? You know you can climb
Yes,
much
I will
faster.
climb normally.
All right. You do not need to roll. The tree is.
Apparently, I am no ninja.
You quickly. You're like 5 feet up, and he flies past you, but he's
I
climbing.
climb down.
All right. So you're climbing. Oh, it is hot. The only good thing about climbing up is we're down below. It was muggier because there was pretty much no breeze. As you're climbing up, you're starting to get a little bit of a breeze. It's not much, but it's a little bit of a relief from down in that mugginess. You get up to about 35 feet, and you kind of break through, and it's getting kind of thin, but you break through the canopy enough that you can kind of get a look around. And what you see
I'm going to go back to the obelisk.
That's what I was thinking.
is that the cliff that was to the east has fallen away off and goes off east, continues with the mountains. That's all mountains and stuff. It opens up into a much larger area. You also see from your vantage what looks like a huge gash so it turns into more desert as it goes east. The jungle fades away very rapidly, and it's mountainous, and a huge chasm between. However, you see a large stone, maybe bridge across that chasm, and that's miles and miles away. It's pretty small, but you can see it with your great elven eyes. To the north, you can see that this is heading towards a large escarpment that's kind of towering up out of the jungle and is actually mostly clear on top, a little plateau, maybe a mile or so across, that seems to be one of the highest areas except for the encircling mountains all around. So you can't see beyond it, and you can't see, because of just distance and haze, a whole lot else, but you do see some additional details. Beyond the chasm, you do see some mountains, but you think you also see, nestled at the base of the mountains, you think you see some huge, they must be huge from this seen from this distance, some huge buildings set right at the base of those mountains. And to the northeast, go ahead. To the northeast, you think, and again it's difficult, but you think you see maybe the edge of some swampland and such. And yeah, that's about what you can see. And then there are and it won't fit on the map here, But far to the west, you can see encircling mountains going north, many miles that way. You seem closer to these western mountains than you do to the eastern mountains. The eastern mountains seem to be about 3 times farther from you than the western mountains.
Okay.
Is that helpful?
Yes.
Okay.
I climb back down.
Okay.
And relay to my beloved companions what I have seen.
Okay. You want to put your
Okay,
own
what do you tell the rest of us?
Farhad spin on it?
So, if we continue going the direction we are going, there is a rocky type of hill ahead, a little ways. Far off to the east, there's a great mighty chasm, but there may be a bridge across it. It is possible. Seems to be made of stone, perhaps natural, perhaps not. Beyond that, there are great mountains, and at the foot of them, a town or a city or a settlement of some kind, but the buildings are huge. There's a swamp far to the north. There's also mountains to the west, but there was nothing interesting about them except that there were mountains.
Moish, do you
You
remember
know-
any civilization?
You never went
No.
that direction.
The
so.
the pools are off to the west.
Yeah, they were right at the base of those mountains to the
You know,
west.
let's head towards the mountains because that's where the pools are.
Excellent.
How far a walk we got left? We talking days? We talking hours?
You vaguely
Can't
recall
see
that plateau being to the
Uh-huh.
north, and so you think you're probably really close to that junction. You
Okay.
couldn't say exactly because the progress is different,
All
but
right.
So
you think you're really close to the junction.
we need to
So-
go to the plateau and then turn west?
No, it was south of the plateau,
No,
quite a ways.
we don't have to go that far. But a half a day or a day, I would imagine.
That's where you guys stopped.
When's it going to be night?
Oh, and you did verify it was noon, and the moon to the south is almost set in the southwest. So it had risen in the southeast, got across, and now it's the huge moon is starting to set in the southwest. But you also see in the east 2 other moons rising, one very small one and one medium-sized, rising in the east.
Cool.
How many moons did our home world have?
One, as far as you know.
Okay.
It was very Earth-like as far as your knowledge.
Understood.
I want there to be a place big enough to put up the tent because I need.
It's pretty easy to hack that kind of space in its undergrowth and with effort, but just about anywhere, the trees are usually spread out far enough that
Okay.
you could do that with some hacking.
Let's put up the tent and give ourselves some respite from the sun and
Well, not the sun, but the heat.
well, and sleep as much as we can for a bit and start up again in a few hours.
By the time he came back down, it was about 6:30 p.m. You guesstimate.
Yeah.
by your
But I
initial
think if
clock.
we sleep and travel by night, perhaps, so long as we wear our bug spray or wear our bug repellent.
Yeah, when is that night coming? It seems like it's been a while.
I don't know when night will come.
I mean,
But-
like the days just longer than normal when you were here?
No, as I told you, it was all relatively normal. The sun did not stop in the sky as it has done today. We must have done something when we opened that gateway.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. No, close.
Yeah. Do we want to go back or do we want to continue on to find the water and the mud?
See, I kind of feel that if the sun doesn't move, that's kind of the thing that destroys the whole, like, everything. Am I wrong? I mean, I don't know much about this, but it seems like it's just going to get hotter and hotter, and everything will just up and die. Because,
Very likely.
yeah,
But it was moving until we got to the.
Whose bright idea
The
was
obelisk.
it to open that?
Yeah.
Thing.
It seemed to, while you guys were resting there, it seemed to be moving too. It's at some point you noticed when you guys came out that it seemed to not be moving. And mostly Moisha kind of noticed that. It was like, might just be me, I'm not sure, because you're only there for about 20
Right.
minutes or so. But your ranger sense was tingling. And then as you continued on, that seems to be when it stopped.
But we didn't interact with anything other than go in and turn the key. Those are the only interactions we had.
I mean, turn the key and open a gate to another dimension. Just saying.
That's all.
Yes, but
Well, yeah,
what did you stay in this dimension?
Yeah, but maybe something came out.
Yes, something did. Lindley and myself came out.
And cold air.
And Moisha, after stepping in briefly.
Yeah.
If you want to go back, I am happy to. We have the key. I can do more exploring. We can find out what's really cool about it.
I think we should all go inside.
No one would put such a structure in the middle of nowhere if it wasn't completely cool.
Yeah, because the way things are going, I don't think the horses are gonna make another day. If the sun doesn't set and it doesn't cool down,
And
that's,
you guys are having to consume 4 times the water.
Okay. Let's go back.
So you've gone
I
through.
don't know if that'll fix anything.
yeah. at
We
least
don't know
it'll
that
be
it'll
cool.
break anything either.
It might not fix anything, but we might break things so badly that that's beyond our control. And then we don't have to worry anymore.
I mean, for all we know, it's just this side of the land, this side of the monolith is cursed, and the land on the other side isn't cursed. We
Give me
walk
the
back
wisdom
over
to
there,
know
and
the
sun starts
difference.
Going normal again.
As Torin says, the horses won't make it. We are already overheated and not functioning at our full capacity.
Yeah, we can have the horses just stand in front of the door and let them cool down.
Saying,
And
I'm just saying, if we go back, we might just be exhausting ourselves even more.
so
Yeah.
But we can set the tent up around the thingy thing, and then with the door open and the cool air coming out, we basically create. In my land, we have a magical box that keeps our food cold. It will be like that, but made of tent.
You know what?
Like
I'm
some
sure
sort of
we'll get it.
like a way of conditioning the air.
If something evil sticks its head out, we'll just stab it. I mean, that's worked so far.
you estimate that it only take half the time to go back, so it took you 6
Yeah.
hours to get here.
Right.
It might take you 3 to
Yeah.
go back.
So we've already blazed our trail. Getting back will not take nearly as much time as getting here
More
took.
effort. You
All
two,
right, let's
especially,
do
your
it
arms
then.
are leaden. You
Yeah.
couldn't hack
Is
them.
there
Torn
like
against turning
any
horses around.
regrowth? Is like coming back and filling in the holes?
Fortunately, you don't see any so
Okay.
far. I mean, you have to get back the other way. But
Let's go
Animals
back.
grow fast, but hopefully not that fast.
all right, so you guys gonna, after this half-hour break,
Backtrack.
you're gonna pack back up and head south.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everybody okay? All right, so
Yeah.
you start heading south. The horses are stumbling and dragging. You guys are just dying from the heat.
Torn dismounts and walks so the horse doesn't have to bear his load.
Okay,
I don't have a horse.
okay, but you're just, your feet are, everybody's just leaden, dragging. It takes longer than you expected just because, I mean, it doesn't take as long as it took to hack here, but you're just so tired. So you're almost to it. Everybody gain another point of heat exhaustion, so another -1 added to whatever you were at.
So -4
As
now.
you come out, what's that?
So -4 now.
Yep, as you come out to that clearing finally at what you guess to be about 10 p.m. Sun is still straight overhead. It is now 125 degrees Fahrenheit.
Torn
You
just walks
really
the horse
having trouble
straight to the
breathing.
Big obelisk.
Why can't we be in someplace nice in between?
The horses, when you get there, actually plop down on the ground, one after another, except for Killer. All the other horses and draft animals just lay down on the ground and just breathe out in exhaustion.
That's not good. Okay. Power cord, let's do this. And begins like pulling out the tent stuff off the mule and setting up the tent on
Okay.
where the entrance is.
All right.
And setting up like he's not. He's pretty much setting it up so it'll try catching air and making like a semicircle around the front.
Okay.
And I try to
Rendell?
help you.
Okay, you're helping, Moisha.
Also helping.
Okay, talk.
Helping a little bit.
As best you can. Okay, Karn and Janera are helping as well. Everybody is stumbling, moving slow. You feel awful. It is really hard to breathe. It is painful to breathe at this point.
Farhad
And
is
Farhad.
grabbing the key and opening up the
Okay,
door.
so
Letting
you're doing
you
that as they
cool
start
air.
setting up, and you need to actually make a strength check because you're and remember you're in a -4. It's just everything feels
Now
so
I'm
much
on a
heavier.
-2.
Oh, you're a -2. Okay. You,
Oh, so I'm only a -3. He's minus, because I was inside, so I had a leather thing, but I was at 2 because of the leather. One more
Okay.
is a 3.
all right,
Yeah.
but still, so at a -2, go ahead and roll.
6. Under 16.
Okay, so
-2 is 4.
It takes a lot more effort than you expected, but you get it up over your head, about the same spot. Feel it catch, fiddle with it a little bit till it sits. Then go ahead and twist 90 degrees counterclockwise as it turns, blue, and then slowly and silently opens, and the cool air comes rushing out,
Filling
relieving
up the
all
tent.
of you. The tent isn't quite up yet. You're just barely started to set up the poles and have the fabric laid out. But
As it's opening,
Yes.
I turn it counterclockwise one more time, 90 degrees.
okay, it starts to open faster.
Cool. I turn it 90 degrees one more time.
Okay, it slams open.
Cool. I turn it 90 degrees one more time.
Okay. Lights come on going down to the stairway. Just hovering like globes over the stairwell.
Yeah!
You
I
don't
found the light switch!
you don't see any
I
structure.
made fire!
You just see little lights going down in about 10 steps before they disappear into the darkness, but definitely
Who
little
is the
glowing
great
lights.
and smartest, wisest one? It's Farhad.
Hey, leave the singing to me.
All right, so you guys get that fabric up and around the opening.
Yeah.
Again, moving slowly. It's almost 11 p.m. by the time you finally have it all trapping. It takes a lot of effort to coax your animals into the tent area, to the cooler area, but it feels so much better.
How far back was the river that we passed through that had little flesh-eating things?
Way back.
Way back, okay.
Well, I mean, without having to hack through, about 3 hours back. So about 3 hours back.
Okay then.
I can't purify water until tomorrow.
If you were feeling better, maybe only 2 hours back.
Yeah, we'll probably make do for now, but if
Yeah.
we're consuming that much water, we need to go back and get more at this rate.
Yeah.
I will be able to purify it tomorrow.
So you guys are going to stay in your little cool tent,
Yeah,
bring your body
Torn
temperatures down.
just leans back against the wall by the entrance and dozes off.
All right. So within an hour, you lose 1 point of penalty.
Oh no! I
And
can
the horses
purify
get
water
back
now.
on their feet before their lungs start to fill with fluid too much.
It's only it's a first level spell. I can do
So
purify water
they
now.
start clearing their lungs once they're back up and vertical and such. Yeah, you're starting to feel a little more, it's still hard to breathe. It's still, the air has just always been
Oppressive.
really unheavy, and it makes you lightheaded. If you breathe more than shallowly, if you breathe normally, it makes you lightheaded like you're hyperventilating.
I go inside the obelisk and just sit on the steps.
Okay. All right. Feels really good. Feels really good. All right. So it's now about midnight. Sun is still overhead. There's a medium and small moon now about overhead and continuing their circuit over
Will
to
they
the
ever
west.
eclipse the sun, or is that
No, they're a little offset. I mean, maybe some days, but right now they're a little offset. One's
Farhad,
kind of north, one's kind of south.
will you
Yes.
turn off the lights? I'd like to be able to sleep. I thought I could sleep on the step here.
Well, I understand your desire. I didn't find anything dangerous down there, but I only went a little bit of the way. I would like anything that might kill or eat us to be well lit while it comes a calling.
I'd also like to
Okay.
point out that sleeping on stairs could be very dangerous when there's no rail or anything to prevent you from falling to who knows how far.
Yes, in Iridia, the government regulators would not let us have a stairwell like this.
Okay.
This is not compatible. All right, so I come back out and sleep next to it.
No audio there, Talk.
Yes, I've heard of this. I believe the Shah of O is in charge of making sure everybody sticks to the rules
Oh,
of
Shaw.
safety, right?
Oh, shit.
That is exactly correct.
I set up a spot for
That
me
now
to
has
sleep.
to be canon, doesn't it?
Yes.
The Shaw of O. All of the construction safety rules for Iridia.
Hey, you can tell it
That's
any way you
that's
want.
If
empirical.
something bad happens in the home or the workplace, all of the people who are not injured stand around going, "Oh." And so there's a Shah who takes care of that.
That's only an empirical Iridia, obviously.
Right.
Yes. It's definitely The nomads don't do this. They don't build stairs.
The Shah
Well,
of
they
O
build
is
stairs,
one
just
man.
not to
He can't-
code.
The Shah of O is one man. He can't wander around and help everybody.
I'm setting up next to the thing, but not in front of the door.
Okay.
Outside,
Torn is snoring.
and I'm going to go to sleep next
deeply,
to it
okay.
and just let the
Lindley.
cool.
Moisha, you're still on the stairs inside. The bright light of the globe. Globe seems to be hovering about 10 or 12 feet above, even though, again, space feels a little
Come
weird.
out of there before you fall down the stairs.
I
Why don't
come
you just wrap a
out
cloth
and
around
bring
your eyes?
Herschel to the front.
Okay. Well,
And-
the whole tent is cool now.
Yeah.
It is working quite well.
Um,
What was that talk?
I just telling Moisha why doesn't he just tie a piece of cloth over his eyes?
I don't want
Wear
to
your
be.
helmet backwards.
Pull the heat visor down. So you can't see the training orb.
Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them.
Herschel,
Reach
come
out with your feelings.
sit with me. And I
Plops down next to you
in front of the
exhaustively.
doorway,
Okay.
and I curl up next to Herschel and
Okay.
hide my eyes in his fur.
Okay, you're out within minutes.
Yes.
Farhad?
Since everyone is passing out, and I'm doing
Except
relatively
Karn.
well by comparison, I'm going to stay up to keep watch for
Okay.
a few hours.
Karn is standing guard over sleeping Janera. He's got his longsword out and is just kind of leaning on it. He's clearly heavily fatigued from, he's feeling better in this tent, but he's, the heat really got to him. But he is standing guard over Janera.
Farhad is going to be guarding the stairs.
Okay, Okay.
Anything coming up through the stairs, he's going to be on it.
they'll have to deal with you, yes.
And you
Yeah.
know that I only need 4 hours of sleep if you
Right.
need.
Yes, and I have my bow handy, but not drawn.
Right. Okay, Talk, do you go to sleep?
Yeah.
Okay. While you're sleeping, Torrin, you went to sleep, right? You're sawing logs there.
Torrent's out. He's exhausted.
While
He's
you're
at the highest
while you're sleeping, Talk, you don't see a face, but a faint image comes out of the darkness with that voice from before. Just kind of faint reddish undulating glow in the darkness. And
it's Dormammu.
Dormammu?
A Marvel
Demon.
Yeah, I don't know.
Doctor Strange
He's the
reference.
villain in Doctor Strange.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so you hear with that same voice as before, that says, "I knew you'd be back," and then fades away. Rest of you, in your
it's just the
sleep.
GM.
What?
It was the general manager.
The rest of you, in your sleep, you have a vision of falling through a clear blue sky, with the ground far below you, miles below you, but falling through the air towards it as it is rushing up to you, closer and closer. And below you, you see what appears to be a vast, huge, sprawling, metropolitan-type city just laid out in grids, spanning miles in every direction as you fall through this clear blue sky, and the ground is rushing up at you. And each of you, as you can't seem to stop, you can't seem to snap out of the dream, as you hit a building in your dream, you jolt awake. You all jolt awake at the same time.
Ah!
What about me?
What's that?
Did I jolt awake?
You had the same dream. Anybody who slept had the same dream.
Okay,
It's
so I had
only
an extra dream.
it was only 2 hours into this that you guys all had this dream. So Farhad, you're on guard. Karn's on guard. He's kind of swaying a little in exhaustion, and all of a sudden everybody jolts with a start. So go ahead,
Yeah.
Lindley,
No, I
Ah!
need to sleep.
Torin, talk,
What the?
and Dranera even. So Karn suddenly gets his sword up,
I
looking
was
around.
falling, but this wasn't one of those nice flying dreams where I just soar around. It was just, I hit a
Yeah.
building. What did the building look like?
Yeah, it was like
Stone,
it was like a town or a
strange
city,
stone
but bigger. It
buildings
just went
and that
as
towered.
far as you could see.
like
How did we
100
all
plus
have the
feet
same
high.
dream?
Some of the buildings were
I'm
covered
gonna
in
guess
glass.
Matt
It looked
Goblin.
like.
Pardon?
The same reason we're all nice and cool right now.
Probably true.
Now,
We're all gonna die.
Did you? What about the voice? What did you hear the voice say?
What voice?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, see, mine had a voice. I saw this weird, like, red swirling image, and it had the same voice that I heard earlier from the monolith thing. It said, "I knew you'd be back." And then I went directly into the falling.
We're all gonna die.
Sounds like whoever's here is pretty smug now, don't it?
By the way, all of you have reduced a penalty by another point.
Okay, another two.
So wait, the sun has not started working again yet, right?
You'll need to check outside the tent, but the tent, you can tell from the tent the sun's still out, but you don't know if it's moved or not.
I'm going
All right,
back
I'll
to
peek
sleep.
out.
I need 2
Okay.
more hours.
Okay. You peek out, and it's still directly overhead. The moons have moved quite a bit to the west. The two smaller moons, quite a bit to the west.
I pull back in. The moons are moving, but the sun's still stuck. So obviously, just coming back here didn't fix anything. What else did we do that we could undo? What about that? What about that key thing? Could we just bury it back in the sand, maybe?
Well, we can do lots of things that like that, but I would prefer we actually go inside and investigate. This is why we should all get our sleep and get some rest.
Yeah, you're still
so
really
that
tired.
We have our energy to go investigate whatever's in the basement of this tiny tent.
Yeah,
Oh,
Moishe,
oh,
you
you
guesstimate it's about
can-
2:30.
And the
In the morning.
and the voice, and just by the way, the voice that I hear, it's not some pretty welcoming like concierge voice. It's like a like big deep monster voice.
Yes, but if it was pretty and inviting, then you are certain it is a demon. Because
True, true.
Yes,
But
if it's a frightening monster, you know he's not trying to trick you, because
well,
you're already
he
afraid.
did try to trick me because first he said set me free, and then it said set them free. It changed its story.
Maybe we are the them. Maybe we are the ones to be set free.
I really doubt that.
Moisha?
I am going to brew another dose of Arunja.
Okay, remind me what Arunja does.
That's the 50-50 addictive brew. 1 hour of sleep equals 4 hours of rest.
Okay.
So
Then roll a save versus poison.
There's the 6-hour version, or did you not get any of that?
I only have the 4 hour version.
You're already asleep.
I'm already asleep, so I can't help.
Versus poison. Paralyzed
Yeah.
versus poison.
You have the reverse of that. 4-hour energy.
10 under 11.
Okay.
Over 11.
All right. And actually it's worse than that because of how intense
Right.
it is. So, so you do now have an addiction to it.
Okay.
That you're going to be you're going to need it. It's going to be almost impossible to sleep. When you go through your next sleep cycle, you're going to need it to sleep. Or if you don't get it to sleep in your sleep cycle, you're going to start trembling and going through
Withdrawal.
really rough DTs. So, but you won't know that till the next sleep cycle.
Right.
Okay. All right. So Farhad and Talk, you were talking. Moisha brewed something and went to sleep. Lindalay's sleeping. Dranera's gone back to sleep. Talk and Farhad, are you going to go back to sleep or keep talking? Or sorry, Farhad, you were on watch still. Do you want to? Karn is still remaining on duty.
I'm going to stay on watch until
Lindalay?
Lindalay's gotten his full 4 hours.
Okay. All right, Talk.
I don't know about this. I think it's just going to get worse if we don't try and undo whatever we've done.
I don't think I will be able to find the magic sand that this was buried under. So
Well, just any part of the sand. You're just not having it, just not keeping it with us. I think might be worth a try.
we had it buried. We had it close to the obelisk. We had it far from the obelisk. I think the obelisk is probably opening it the first time triggered something that only exploring the obelisk will allow us to untrigger. This is how magic things work. They always make you come deeper and deeper. It's like organized crime. Once you begin, you can't get out until everyone's dead.
Yeah, could you all maybe just talk about this in a few hours?
Well, so you're not denying that that something's changed. You're just denying whether or not it's our fault. You know,
I'm saying your
clearly
solution
getting
is
hotter
stupid,
out there,
and I think we should do
Well,
a better
what-
solution.
One at a time, please. Don't talk over each other.
But we are definitely talking
I
over
think
each other.
somebody's a
in this
climate
argument.
change denier.
I understand, but okay. All right. So,
neither of us were saying anything.
okay.
important
So,
anyway.
Talk, are you going to stay awake with Farhad until Lindalay's up, or are you going to get some sleep?
I'm going to try and rest without sleeping.
Okay. Roll a Constitution check.
Okay. That's going to work out really well. I rolled a 13, and my con is 8.
All right. You try to stay awake, just rest, but within minutes you're still arguing with Farhad, but you trail off and you're asleep while still mumbling an argument, even though it's not making sense.
See, if we try, we have to reverse our steps completely as soon from
But it's
everything we
but it's
did.
word salad.
And
It's
then-
word salad.
And then there's
Okay.
get better.
All right. A couple hours go by. It's now roughly 4:30 in the morning. Lindalay, you finally get your sleep and wake from it refreshed. Did you have any penalties left?
I had 2.
Okay, so you recover one more point.
Okay, so
Okay. So you're refreshed. Farhad, you're struggling to stay awake. You're so tired. Karn is swaying heavily, standing with his sword.
Karn, go to sleep. I'm up. I can watch this place.
He does not argue. He quickly sheathes his sword, lays down near Janera, and he's out within minutes snoring.
Yeah, Farrah goes to sleep.
Okay, yeah, you're asleep very quickly. No recurrence of the dream, and we will go ahead and leave it at that and see what happens next week. Ooh.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, so Joe, you'll be here next week? No
Yes.
training or anything? Okay, everybody's good for next week?
Yep.
Yep.
Should
Okay.
be, yep.
Good. All right. Well, then come back again next Sunday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific time, and see what happens next. And we're going to wrap it up. So wherever you may be well, happy gaming, and Namarie.
Dream well. Not falling from the sky dreaming, but
We're all gonna die.
again.
Still.
Adam?
I can stop the sun. I don't think just throwing a piece of gold in the dirt's gonna make it happy. Anyway, I'm not.
Andy? Joe?
What's the worst that could happen?
Dan?
The worst thing that could happen is it's realized that it is Florida.
Good night.
Bye.